It's SEC opening weekend. Beautiful night for baseball in Northwest Arkansas. Bright sunshine, a packed Baum-Walker Stadium, and the Hog Pen is jumping for a top 5 matchup. Two teams that didn't play last season. To kick off league play, though, this evening, the Mississippi State Bulldogs and Arkansas Razorbacks. Let's bring you up to the booth. I'm Brett Dolan. He's Troy Eklund. Thanks for joining us. And Troy, there's always a little extra juice in the building when you get to league play.
Boy, there really is. You know, this is kind of a chance for everybody to do a little bit of a reset. Good or bad, no matter what happened in the non-conference, the conference is a whole different world, Brett.
I think one thing we learned, though, in non-conference play is that this Mississippi State offense is loaded.
Well, they really are. This is an offense coming in, hitting .354, have about 28 home runs, with an on-base percentage of .462, so they can hit the ball to all fields with some power. Incredible depth. Not only the starters can hit, but the bench can hit as well, Brad.
It's a team averaging almost 11 runs a game, so there is depth in this lineup, consistency as well. On the flip side, Arkansas has pitched the baseball really well.
Yeah, they've got some upperclassmen, a lot of juniors on this staff. They can really throw the ball and spin it. And I tell you what, this is going to be offense versus pitching. So we're going to see who comes out on top.
See where Arkansas ranks in a lot of those categories. Well, tonight it'll be, no surprise, Gabe Gackel on the mound getting this Friday night assignment.
Well, Gackel's been electric so far this season. And again, kind of really settling into that starting role. The fastball's going to be in the mid to upper 90s. The breaking ball's gotten much better. And just his consistency throwing strikes, Brett, is what's made him so tough.
Coming off a career-high 99 pitches. Here's the starting lineup for State. Teal, Reese, and Sullivan. Stallman was a bit of a game-time decision. He's back in the lineup. Fry is riding a 15-game hitting streak. Then Woodson at short. Raymond catching against the right-hander. Parker in right and Chance in left. Well, we start with the temperature in the low 70s. Arkansas coming off a couple of losses to the Stetson Hatters to split a 4-game series. Meanwhile, Mississippi State at 15-2. So a contrast in styles, pitching against offense. We'll see which one wins out. There will be a doubleheader tomorrow starting at 1 o'clock, so no game on Sunday. And knowing doubleheaders are hard to sweep, I know both of these teams would love to get a W tonight.
Yeah, this game is really critical for both squads. And you're exactly right. You know, with talent at this level, to win back-to-back games, it is really, really difficult.
Aiden Teal steps in to begin things. One of the Virginia transfers for Coach O'Connor, and we're off and rolling, and that ball's tattooed to center for a base hit in front of Micah New. One pitch, one swing, one base hit for the Bulldogs. We're talking about the Mississippi State offense. We didn't mean they had to go out with the first pitch, but they're ready to roll tonight.
Yeah, that ball got turned around in a hurry about 107 off the bat of Teal. That was an absolute missile to center field.
Brings up one of the big-time hitters in this Southeastern Conference, Ace Reese. A year ago, 80 hits and 21 homers. Off to another good campaign in 2026. Pitch from Gackel's outside. Again, Gackel, though, coming off a career high in pitches, 99 last Friday. Got a lot to talk about, though, on this top of the first inning. That pitch just does miss. Our plate umpire is Eddie Newsom tonight. Matthew Wilbanks at first. Brian Hale umpires at second. Alex Ransom over at third. Outfield pretty much straight away against Ace Reese. Good pitch in there for a strike from Gackel.
Well, Brett, we don't have the luxury, since it's conference play, to have the TrackMan strike zone, so we're going to be just like everybody else trying to figure out if that ball's up or down or in or out.
An educated guess. We might have a time
go.
or two tonight. 2-1 is fouled at the plate.
Really good changeup by Gackel right there. This is a State team, Brett, that'll run a little bit. They're 31 of 38 on the season, and Teal over first is 3 of 5. So I doubt the left-hand hitter, they're going to put him in motion, but always something to think about if you're a Razorback pitcher on the mound.
See Kozel standing out there at second. We'll explain here in a moment. A much different looking infield for the Razorbacks. Teal is going to run. The throw from Helfrich is on the money, and that'll cut down Teal. Arkansas gets the first out through the right arm of Ryder Helfrich.
Well, that pitch by Gackel almost worked like a pitch out because it was a fastball up in the zone. Helfrich just throws an absolute dime down there. No chance for Teal.
So Kojo playing shortstop tonight. They're waiting, able to apply that tag. The count 3-2 to Ace Reese. That's ball 4. Arkansas Troy has 3 different infielders starting at their position tonight for the very first time this year. And then Nolan Sousa at second base for just the 3rd time this season.
Yeah, this is Dave Van Horn really shaking up that infield, and you know, he's had some guys in there scuffling offensively and then also having some miscues with the glove as well. So he's like, hey, let's just roll the dice and put some guys that can really hit, and we'll see how we do.
Well, that was an awkward throw to first base, and Reese back in standing. I think in some of the conference calls we had with Coach Van Horn this week, we sensed something was up. He didn't want to get into too many of the details, and then watching infield today, you're like, well, Reese isn't at first, he's at third. Kojel's not at second, he's at short. Sousa's back at second, and Riddebar gets the start at first. That's skied in the air to right field off the bat of Sullivan. Kahio Aloy is nearing the fence, and he does not make the catch. So Reese will go to second base. Sullivan aboard at first. And the Bulldogs in business. Troy got back to the fence. I thought he had that one measured, but he just did not secure it.
Yeah, he caught that ball, you know, almost kind of on the side. You know, right here, watch how low he catches this baseball. You want to catch that ball, hit him right in the palm, but you want to catch it up above your head so you can see the ball go into the glove. That's a little miscue by Kahio Aloy that really could be costly.
So here's Reed Stallman. Big numbers as well for Stallman. Hitting at a .457 clip. He's going to wave and miss. 4th in the SEC in batting average, 3rd in on base, 5th in OPS. Into the Lipscomb series this past weekend, he had gone 9 for 13 with a couple of homers.
I believe he had like a cut on his foot or something that was kind of gave him a little bit of trouble.
Not a lot of at-bats as of late, but he's up with a couple of runners aboard in the top of the 1st inning against Gackle.
Gackle trying to keep that ball right under the hands of Stallman to try to cut down on some of that power.
Reese at second, Sullivan at first. Up and out at 95 and missing.
The other thing that error did, it also adds to the pitch count of Gabe Gackle.
Arkansas back on Monday against Stetson gave up 4 runs in the first before an out was recorded. They never overcame that top of the 1st inning.
Good changeup right there by Gackle. That's the pitch that's really come together for him this season, Brett. You know, last season he really was almost like a 2-pitch guy, you know, fastball, curveball, but really worked on that changeup, and he'll throw it quite often to left-handers.
Big pitch early in this game to Reed Stallman. Strike 3 over the inside corner. Gackle paints with a fastball, and there's 2 gone.
Boy, that was 96 on track, man, right under the hands, up and in, and you cannot place it any better. You can see Helfrich just stuck that pitch, and Stallman knew it was right there in the zone. Not only in, but kind of up and in. Just that almost unhittable area.
Here's Garrick Fry again riding a 15-game hitting streak. Another guy with gaudy offensive numbers and 13 runs batted in. Good pitch from Gackle. Drops in the curve for a strike, and I think at times we saw a lot of sliders last year, so he's incorporated both the curve and the slider a little more often.
Well, that last pitch was 82, and when you throw a pitch 95 and then drop down to 82, that's what really throws hitters off, is that change of speed.
Gackle's next one popped up, backing out of play, and he jumps ahead of Garrick Fry, 0-2.
Fry's seeing a couple off speed. How about a breaking ball and then a straight change? Seems like TrackMan's just a mile an hour faster than the scoreboard here at Baum-Walker.
Reese at second, he walked. Sullivan at first, he reached on the air. There's a little tapper at the first base side. Will it stay fair? It does not. Rutenbar was trying to glove it quickly. Our plate umpire, Eddie Newsom, was there. It's his call, but he's just a split second late, and the fans were hoping that was out number 3, and not to be.
Yeah, right. Until that ball gets to first base, it's the home plate umpire's call. Rutenbar is trying to get there, but you can definitely see that It's where the ball ends up, not where he's standing. Definitely
would have been nice, though, for Arkansas to be able to find a way to get to that ball and get that easy out.
Yeah, that's right. You wonder if Robinette would have maybe been a little more aggressive over there on that play.
Gackle trying to work around the air and right here in the first. Next pitch. Fouled back again.
It's a great job right there by Fry. Spoiling a pitcher's pitch up and away with the fastball at 95.
Clean shaven Garrick Fry.
Yeah, if you're Gackle, you've got a pitch or two to waste right here.
Long pause before another two-strike pitch. Left that one up, fouled back to the screen. We'll do it again.
That's back-to-back high fastballs that Fry's offered at. You wonder if Gackle's going to keep trying to climb that ladder just a little bit more, try to get the strikeout.
Is that a swing? I think it is. But first base will be where the third out will be recorded. Helfrich had to fire one to Rutenbar. Fry didn't realize it until it was a little bit too late. That was an eventful inning. But the Bulldogs strand two. Top of the first inning. A couple of runners left on base for Mississippi State. Now Ryan McPherson takes the mound in the bottom of the frame.
Yeah, McPherson's got good stuff as well. We'll sit about low to mid 90s with that fastball. 4-pitch mix guy. He'll throw the change, slider, and fastball as well. 1.96 ERA you see right there, and an amazing strikeout to walk ratio, Brett.
Oh, indeed. Here's the lineup. Arkansas will run out there. Ruiz, Kojal, and Helfrich. Stewart back in the lineup after missing a couple of games, which is good news for Arkansas. The new Rutenbar at first, Aloy in right, Robinette playing third base, Sousa at second base, bats ninth.
Brett, here's a stat that'll jump out at you. So McPherson, left-handers, which usually left-handers hit right-handers better. How about they're hitting 115 off of him this season? Righties at 267. It's kind of flipping the splits upside down, isn't it?
Well, Damian Ruiz ready to lead off. Ruiz had 5 hits in a 4-game series with Stetson. Arkansas again won the first 2. It did not win the last 2. First time Arkansas did not win a non-con home weekend series at Baum Walker since 2014. They didn't lose it, but they didn't win it either. And McPherson ready at the first one is found back and out of play.
About 97 on that fastball.
First SEC game for Ruiz. Transferred from Lamar. McPherson last weekend had 6 innings of 1-run baseball, just 1 walk, 8 Ks. That's on the ground and up the middle and into center for a base hit. Good beginning for an Arkansas offense that has needed something here in the last few games. Brings up Camden Kojal.
Again, how about both teams with early base hits and trying to put a little pressure on each other's defenses?
See the numbers for Kojal extremely good. 1 for 9 his last couple of games. Hit some balls really hard and had the wind knock down a couple of deep flies. Before that, he had gone 12 of 26. Now, again, he's playing shortstop tonight. He said, you know, you field it, you throw it. We're ball players.
Don't overthink it. There you go.
Just field it and throw it. Makes it sound easy. Kojal's going to hit a mile-high pop-up on a wind-free night, but that will drift back and be out of play. A lot of folks shading their eyes down the line and left.
Well, this is a really unusual night here at Baum Walker with no wind, and what little bit of wind there is, it's just kind of barely keeping the flag moving out toward right field. State's going to shift and have 3 infielders on the right side of second base.
Kojal in the hold 0-2. Just pokes one out to left for a base hit. Two-strike pitch, maybe a little bit too good. Ruiz is going to try to go to third base. The throw is offline from Chance.
Brett, that was amazing heads-up play by Damian Ruiz because the third baseman was playing over in the shortstop area, and nobody was covering third base. So when this ball's hit, watch how fast he goes. He can see where that guy is. There's this little peak right there, and you can see that nobody was trying to get back there. That is great heads-up baseball.
Boy, indeed it is. So Arkansas first and third, nobody out. And Ryder Helfrich will bat. Ryder has reached either with a hit or a walk in every game this season, all 17. We had a pitch timer violation. I don't think McPherson very happy with Eddie Newsom. And the umpires are going to get together to discuss. Every time there's a violation on the pitcher or the batter, there's always an argument, hey, you didn't reset. There was some issue. It doesn't look like that'll be the case here, or will it?
Yeah, I think they said, looks like they did the motion to reset. So
first he indicated the count, then he said there'd be a reset. Talk a lot about Ryder Helfrich playing for Team USA. Well, one of the pitchers he caught was Ryan McPherson.
If anybody knows what he throws, I think it's going to be Helfrich.
Be pretty comfortable understanding his stuff. Pitch is yanked, down and out.
Brett McPherson is one of those guys, 50% fly balls, 50% ground balls. So you can see him not wanting to hang anything to Helfrich, just kind of overthrowing that slider cutter.
Here's the Team USA roster. Ace Reese was on that team, Helfrich, both Gackle and Gibbler. So these two squads well represented for the red, white, and blue this past summer.
That's just another thing that talks about the talent in this ball game.
2-1 pitch, wave and a miss at 97. Troy, Arkansas's last earned run came in the second inning of Monday's game. They'd like to get on the board some way, somehow, but it won't be in this situation. Helfrich takes strike three over the inside corner from McPherson. Good pitch.
Really good cutter slider right there. It just really dropped off the table. Watch this really lock up Helfrich's knees. That thing was filthy.
Last year, McPherson allowed opponents to hit 190 against him. And again, maybe that splitter's a little bit of a work in progress, but the cutter, the slider, the curve, whatever the case may be, he has an arsenal. Arkansas happy to have Zach Stewart back in their lineup. Not a comfortable swing, and Kosha will take second base when the ball got away. Stewart had a bit of a groin injury running to first base against Stetson. DVH estimated he might be at about 85%. Stewart said 90 before the game.
Coaches always conservative, aren't they?
He doesn't want to have to beat one out, and yet there's a ball that's going to kick away, and he's going to have to race to first, and Troy didn't have quite that acceleration. The play is made, but a run will score. So Stewart gets an RBI. Ruiz comes across, and the Razorbacks have a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to put that baseball in play, but what a great job by Fry backing up Stallman right here. Just a tough chopper. This is one of those plays that's either going to make it or you don't. And what a great play right there by Stallman. You could really see that Stewart was going almost about half speed down to first base. He was not going to get hurt.
What a great play, though, from Fry. And considering he was a guy last year who played so many different positions. But if he can't get that one cleanly and it kicks away, 2 runs would have scored.
Yeah, that was just an outstanding play. We're going to go out and check on him here.
I didn't see him come up maybe a little bit lame if there was something reaching for that baseball. Obviously, he had to kind of almost lay out in a do-or-die effort.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what that is, but Can't be too safe. You want to make sure your players are feeling good, and if they have anything that's ailing, you don't want to chance it.
Well, the Razorbacks get a run. Here's Mike Anu, batting 5th today.
Might see Camden Kojal be extremely aggressive in a ball in the dirt over at third base.
Well, Raymond had to knock one down. Raymond making his 9th start. That is the most of any Mississippi State catcher. They've had 3 catchers that have kind of split time, more of a platoon as of late. Had a guy who caught a little bit early that's injured, so it's been different as far as handling the pitchers.
Yeah, I think so, and they kind of go back and forth with right-hander, left-hander, whoever's on the mound.
Who's going to foul one right at the plate? Mike Anu riding a 7-game hitting streak. 3 home runs on the year. And the pitch from McPherson. That's some heat. Cut on a missed at 97 for strike 2.
Well, the thing is, too, it just looks easy. It just looks like an easy 97. Some guys look max effort. McPherson just big-bodied right-hander. He just overpowers the baseball.
See if he can finish off New. He struck out Helfrich looking. It's up and out. Baseball America did an article this week about the top 10 SEC pitchers generating scouting buzz. Liam Peterson was number 1, Tegan Coons was number 2, but there was Gackle 3, McPherson 6. We're seeing both of these guys go head-to-head in a Friday night in the SEC in the conference opener.
I think before too long, Hunter Dietz's name's going to be in that
I would
conversation
agree,
as
and
well.
we'll see him tomorrow in game 1, I would imagine. But again, 2 9-inning games tomorrow starting at 1 p.m. with an hour in between. Network crew in for games 2 and 3, so I'm not sure if both of those games will be on the network, whether the first one will and the second one will be digital. We'll find out together. Mike Anu takes one up and out. Here's a snap throw to third, and just in time was Kojal getting his right hand back to the pillow. He had to hurry and he had to scramble, and maybe a little bit of a high throw from Raymond kept the Bulldogs from getting a pickoff.
Well, look how far Kojal's down there, and you can see he has to scamper back, and boy, that is really close, and what a great job by Alex Ransom, the third base umpire, to be right on top of that call.
Here's a payoff pitch. That's a wave and a miss. Gets away from Raymond. He's going to have to complete the strikeout with a throw to first, and that will end the inning. Razorbacks get a run and a couple of hits. Stranded runner at third, off and rolling tonight from Von Walker. The first in this series opener, conference opener. See the shadows advancing towards the outfield here at Von Walker on a sunny Friday night.
Boy, Brett, how big was that play by Damian Ruiz going from first to third? I think if he doesn't do that, Arkansas doesn't score a run in that inning. Just big-time heads-up play.
Well, Brian O'Connor, his very first trip to Von Walker Stadium, talking about a guy who spent more than 2 decades at Virginia, new head coach, building this team, but obviously with the intent to win, and see the 22 years at Virginia. Grew up in Council Bluffs, Iowa, Troy, and finished that thought in a second. There's the head hog. He had some surprises for us with his lineup today. Here's Ryder Woodson, the shortstop, who takes strike 1, but Coach O'Connor is from Council Bluffs on the other side of the river from Omaha. His mom still lives there, and she got to come down with his brother who lives in Kansas City.
That's right. Yeah, they made a road trip down here to Fayetteville, and so they're going to have a great time at the park this weekend.
I know the Bulldogs have enjoyed Ryder Woodson, what he has done since transferring from NC State.
Boy, Brett, he's just really grabbed onto that shortstop position and hasn't let go.
Going to poke one down the line and right, and it will bend and be out of play.
Pretty good one-handed play by a fan down there.
Fans went crazy. Look at that. Nice catch.
He's selling it too, isn't he?
He's got a Louisville Slugger hat on. He's probably cut a few of those in his day. Did he get it clean? Oh yes.
Yeah. That's confidence right there.
Nicely done. Woodson will hit a mile-high fly ball. I don't know if Cahillo saw it or New saw it. It is Aloy with the catch. for the first out in the second inning.
A much better job by Eloy out there. Again, like I said, catching that ball above his head. You can see the baseball go into the glove so much easier than when you try to catch it around your shoulder.
I don't know if Mike Anu saw it right away, so it's a good thing Cahillo did.
He knew he was looking into the sun. I think he was having some issues, like I said, picking that baseball up.
This is Andrew Raymond. The catcher's going to hit one sharply on the ground to Souza at second base, who is playing in the hole, and his throw to Rutenbar is in time. One thing Dave said about moving guys around or playing individuals at either different positions or one they haven't been at very often this year, the ball will find you. So it's found Rutenbar and Souza. Coach will let a throw down to second base. Cahillo Eloy a fly ball. And
well, on that,
that's the way it works.
Souza was having to wait for Rutenbar to get to first base. And then when he found the bag, he found it with the wrong foot.
He did.
So he was stretching with the wrong foot. It's like taking a layup and you go off the wrong leg. It just doesn't look right.
This is Jacob Parker.
I think in this game, DVH is just looking for results. It doesn't have to look good, just results.
Rutenbar, though, was a catcher in high school. He played some other positions. He said the next most frequent position of his was third base. That one's dumped off the end of the bat to center. Mike Anu will not get there. So Jacob Parker gets a single to center with 2 outs in the second inning.
Yeah, just a soft ball off the end of the bat. Anu's playing pretty deep with 2 outs. You don't want to have anything hit over your head. Keep everything in front and keep everybody at first base, so playing a deep center field. Hey, Parker's not going to complain, but how about 74 miles an hour off the bat? That's just putting them one where they ain't.
Brings up Bryce Chance. This guy's batting in the 9-hole, hitting at 422.
Yeah, that's
with 10 runs batted in.
He's got to be, if not the best, but one of the best 9-hole hitters in the country.
Tell you what, he's been Mr. Bulldog. And Coach O'Connor said he was one helping with all the recruits on campus over the summer. Just loves Mississippi State. Pops this one up on the infield. Who wants it? Souza's going to call everybody off. There was some indecision there for a moment. Souza made the call and the catch. A little bit of an adventure. Bulldogs going to hit strand a runner 1-0 Arkansas.
Because of what went on, I know that we have a lot of new guys in our program, whether they're from high school or from other programs. And, to me, I just want them to know this is not the way we go about things here.
Yeah, Troy, games 3 and games 4 of that Stetson series did not work out well for Arkansas. You see the left on base, and look at the numbers with runners on and in scoring position, a combined 1 for 19.
Yeah, that was something early on in the season. Arkansas had some pretty good stats and really scuffling with trying to take advantage of those base runners. And you just can't win games when you're not driving people in.
So Carter Rutenbar has 16 at bats. 7 hits, swinging to the first pitch, and that one's back up the middle. Woodson bobbled it, but still able to make that play at first base. So Carter will be trying to find a way to get him in the lineup. He was hitting cleanup the other day and had 4 base hits on Monday afternoon.
He was about the only one that was hitting on Monday. I believe he had a great game. But
you aren't kidding.
One thing about Dave Van Horn is you really don't have to try to read between the lines with DVH, do you?
No, you do not. Here's Cahillo Eloy. 3 homers, 19 knocked in. DVH was also asked about Cahillo the other day and what he's seeing after a couple of games where he didn't quite look himself, and he said he's flying open trying to pull the baseball.
Yeah, just a little pull happy. When he is really on, he is hitting the ball from alley to alley. And again, he can hit the ball out of any park. Tremendous bat speed and some great hand-eye coordination.
Cahillo 3 for 15, 3 runs batted in that 4-game series against Stetson. Boy, tremendous wave to miss.
Really nice cutter slider right there by McPherson.
Well, it's got movement. It's got a little tight spin to it. Pretty good velocity as well on that pitch.
He throws that pitch in the upper 80s, and like I said, doesn't have tremendous break, and you really don't want a good slider to have a lot of break. Just miss that barrel. Another one right there. Wow, not only just the great spin, it's just perfect location, down and away.
You know, D1 Baseball Troy did their top 100 college players for the 2027 draft. They have McPherson 12th. Now, this is just college players, not the high school kids incorporated, but, I mean, that's pretty high praise. That's painted on the outside corner at the knees, maybe just a little bit beyond. Regardless, that's a K, and that's 3 strikeouts for McPherson.
Yeah, that's a pitch you just can't hit if you're Kahio Aloy. Yeah, definitely. It looks like it might have been off the plate, but just great location. There's a couple cutters on that outside corner. Just never gave Aloy anything to hit in that at-bat, but still throwing strikes.
Here's Reese Robinette, the third baseman. Reese homered in that Stetson series, Troy, and it was the lone long ball Arkansas had in 4 games. Hit it through the wind off the scoreboard in right center. That was it in the 4-game set. I know this Arkansas team wants to hit a few more doubles. They had 12 in that series, but they had 17 in February, 5 in March. And if you come into a game against McPherson hoping to find your long ball stroke, that might not be a recipe that works. And it does feel like Eddie Newsom's maybe giving a little extra off the corner too.
Well, McPherson has really shown the ability to throw around the plate, so I think that's why he's getting a little bit of grace.
Robinette off the hands will bounce one softly into the shift. Someone's got to take it. I think that's Woodson. He'll make the play. Retire Robinette. The Razorbacks go in order. 2 complete. 1-0 Hawks. Series history awfully close. 61-58 in favor of Arkansas. Hogs have won 8 consecutive series against the Bulldogs inside the friendly confines of Baum-Walker Stadium. Last being in 2024. See the last time that State won a series at Arkansas, 2007. These teams didn't play last year, Troy, and it was the first time, of course, you don't have Arkansas facing other teams in what was the Western Division. It felt weird not seeing the Dogs and Hogs go at it.
Yeah, it really did. And again, just tremendous fan bases, probably some of the best in the country. You know, behind LSU, some of the best numbers as far as attendance goes each year.
This is Hayden Teal. He singled to begin the game and was out trying to steal. His older brother Kyle played for Coach O'Connor at Virginia, was drafted in the first round by the White Sox and is in the big leagues.
I think Big Brother gives him some tips.
Well,
Sure.
It can't hurt, right?
No, hey, whatever he's getting, it's sure working. He can actually rake.
Big wave and a miss at the Gackle pitch.
Both these pitchers just kind of seems like about halfway through the plate, that fastball just picks up another gear and just kind of really just takes off.
Through the legs of Gackle and into center. So Aiden Teal has a couple of base hits.
State just wants Teal to lead off every inning. Teal over there at first base, it's the first base coach is kind of working with him. See if something didn't happen to his
I don't see
back
any
or something
expression.
like that. They're working on his back. Yeah, right between the wickets right there, but almost like that oblique muscle. I don't know if that's an elbow or oblique or something.
I don't know either.
That's going to bring the trainer out. They're going to go talk and take a check on Teal, but you can see he's kind of breathing a little big, and it's such a common injury for baseball players, again, with these guys with tremendous workouts in the weight room and stuff. And
I just didn't see anything on the replay or the reaction. I mean, maybe he's turning first base a little bit slow, but
Pretty
there's
gingerly.
no grimace.
then
Might have said something, though, to his first
now he
base
kind of
coach.
goes down to his knees, and that's usually a sign of being in some pain. You hope he's okay. Seems like he is. He's going to stick in the game.
Brings up a dangerous hitter in Ace Reese. flipped to first, and again Teal was out trying to steal in the first. Midweek, Mississippi State was down to Tulane in a game in Biloxi in front of a massive crowd, and Ace Reese hit an oppo grand slam in the later innings. Again, this was the guy who a year ago had 21 home runs.
Just a big frame, 6'4".
Started at Houston, spent a year with the Cougars before transferring to Mississippi State. He's kind of been a guy without a position. I'm not sure if third base, first base, whatever the case may be, might end up being his pro position, but he is a hitter.
Another thing, every time you see Gackle pick, you've got a catcher over there at first base, so he's used to the velocity, but you wonder if the angle's just a little bit different.
Probably finds himself really close to the pitcher from that position, or home plate when you're holding a runner. There's Ace Reese, Canton, Texas native. SEC Newcomer of the Year a season ago, and you should be with 80 base hits.
Well, that was just power versus power right there, a fastball up in the zone. And really good cut by Reese. Might see Gackle go back to that changeup and maybe really float this one off the outside corner. You can't leave it over the middle of the plate or Reese will turn it around.
Gackle's paws in the pitch, and that's fouled right at the plate. Maybe even off the leg or the foot there of Ace Reese.
Well, so far this Bulldog lineup has just absolutely battled Gabe Gackle. I mean, that was a great pitch, and Reese was able to foul it off.
Smoked to short, taken on a short hop, and that should be a double play and will. It actually worked out for Kojal in Arkansas when he didn't catch the liner. And Troy, the savvy veteran that he is, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't make sure to take that on the short hop rather than extend and make the catch and locked up Teal.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, you can see that his instinct is to, go get this baseball, but then just that last little bit, he's like, okay, I'm just going to stay put and just let that one skip, and that's an easy 6-3 double play.
What'd he say? It's just as simple as fielding the ball
And throwing it.
Noah Sullivan reached on an E9 his only time in. That is a mile-high popper. Helfrich discards the mask, able to make the catch. Leadoff hit, but only 3 men bat for Mississippi State. Rather quick inning for Gabe Gackle. Backs are in this game as Arkansas bats in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Conference opener tonight, SEC opening weekend. Here's your preseason poll. State 3rd, Arkansas 4th, and they come in the rankings 3rd and 5th, so not much has changed. Obviously, Texas remains unbeaten. LSU, like Arkansas and a few other teams, they've had a few bumps in the road, but it all starts for real tonight.
Yeah, kind of like we said in the open, it's just a chance for everybody to kind of do a reset. Whatever you did before, good or bad, you just kind of have to forget about and then move on. It's a whole different level of pitching and just play, quality of play in the SEC.
D1 baseball writers did their bold predictions before the season started, and Joe Healy, who covers a lot of the SEC, he had his national champion as Mississippi State. His other bold prediction that Carson Brumbaugh would be the freshman of the year. So those are his 2, and this is Nolan Souza. Batting in the 9th hole, leading off the Razorback 3rd inning, followed by Ruiz and Kojal against McPherson. Arkansas got a couple of singles, and then a ground out for a run. Souza blisters one down the line and right. That's going to be extra bases. He'll turn and go to second base. Parker plays it back in. That must feel really good for Nolan Souza, and that's a leadoff double.
Yeah, that's the swing that Arkansas has been waiting for Souza to get that barrel out and pull something down that right field line. And again, the inside pitch has been giving him fits. He didn't have any problem right there. That was a really short swing and no chance for Stallman to make that play over at first base. Parker did all he could do to get it in, but Souza can really run. He was almost at second base before that ball hit the cutoff man.
The expression DVH used in the press conference on Monday is that Souza was trending up, so maybe that's a good sign for Arkansas. This is Damian Ruiz. Singled in the bottom of the first. He went first to third on a single to left by Kojal, and that proved big as Arkansas got a run on a ground out.
Brett, Ruiz is one of those guys that he just kind of feels like he lets the game come to him and doesn't try to really do too much.
I think there's got to be a little curiosity for Ruiz what it's going to look like in this conference on a week in and week out basis, because last year 83 hits with Lamar, 76 runs scored, 50 walks. Chopper to short. Woodson will charge and throw on the run. He gets Ruiz by a step at first. Nicely done. Not much of a margin of error with Ruiz running. Sousa does take third. He's there with one gone.
Yeah, that works like a sacrifice bunt for Ruiz, and really nice play by Woodson, and he's just been rock solid there at shortstop for the Dogs.
Brings up Kojal. Space hit in the first was his 24th of the year. That is the most on this team. Pitch down in the dirt. I tell you what, Raymond said it knocked down a few behind the plate.
Yeah, he's done a good job. Look at Fry, the second baseman, almost out in shallow right field, and you've got Woodson kind of almost playing up the middle, but then you have Reese, the third baseman, playing in to keep away from Kojal dropping down a bunt.
Pitch drifted too far in.
The thing that's been so impressive for Camden Kojal is just his ability to not expand that strike zone and chase pitches out of the zone. And when you've got an offense that's kind of struggling and you're one of the guys that's really produced and you try to do too much at times, he's been very patient.
Tap that one foul, maybe reaching a little bit for the changeup.
Yeah,
just barely making contact.
I think that's a pitch that if he had to do it over again, just a little over aggressive. See, it's like one of the guys you tell him that he never misses a free throw and just kind of curse him.
Well, when it's 2-0, you're looking for something to hit. There's no doubt. Especially with a runner at third and the infield back, with the exception of Reese, who's way off the line at third base. This will get a run home. Bouncer to Fry. Kojal out at first. Arkansas scored 2 runs on a couple of ground outs. Get them on, get them over, get them in. Tell you what, when you're struggling to score runs, that's a lot more beautiful than when you're really locked in and you're wondering why you're not hitting. You'll gladly take some runs to try and put a few on the board against McPherson.
Yeah, when you've got a guy on the mound like McPherson who has just got incredible stuff, any way you can scratch out a run, and that's kind of what it feels like for Arkansas right now, because you know this state offense, every time you get them without putting a run on the board, it's just a gift.
And Helfrich swings through 95. He was rung up on strikes back in the first.
I like how Helfrich went back and asked the home plate umpire, Eddie Newsom, said, hey, was that a strike?
McPherson runs one a little bit off that outside corner, came back with the heat again.
I feel like that was almost another show-me fastball. Now you might see Helfrich start getting some off-speed pitches.
Think about this in that Stetson series, even though the last 2 games did not go Arkansas's way. I believe, Troy, they had their leadoff hitter on base 22 of the 32 innings. Well, tonight, 2 of the 3 times they've had their leadoff runner on base, they've scored it.
Yeah, and that didn't happen over the weekend, especially the last 2 ball games.
That one's laced to center, but Teal doesn't have to move. Standing in the pocket of sunshine between the shadows, so Helfrich hit it hard, but he's out, and the Razorbacks get a leadoff double and scored a run. 2-0 Hogs as we go to the 4th.
You know, I think being able to, take the ball, for the team and start and go try to throw 6-7 innings every weekend is something that is super valuable. And so the goal is to start, and I know I can do it. I just struggled a little bit last year, and it was a good learning experience.
There's no doubt he wanted to start. I think that was the expectation. Obviously, last year, Troy, when he was a starter early, things didn't go well. He went to the bullpen. He pitched extremely well. But Matt Hobbs kind of quantified it, Arkansas's pitching coach, when he said, listen, early in the year, it wouldn't have mattered had he been coming out of the bullpen. He just wasn't sharp. And then he found it, and I don't know if those 2 were related, but I know he wanted to be the Friday starter. Stallman hits one fair down the line at first. Rutenbar will pick it up. And Rakaya Reed Stallman, 1 pitch, 1 out.
Brett, I was wondering which base that Rutenbar was going to go touch. I wonder if that was probably a long discussion. Hey, son, there's 2 colors out there. You got to hit the white one. So that was interesting. He definitely did.
Good for him. And here's Garrick Fry, who struck out his only time in. Hobbs, though, a couple of weeks ago said about Gackle, it's go time, in essence. And he said, listen, I'm critical of him because I know how good he is. I know he feels the same. I'm not saying anything on the radio show that I haven't said to him. And I think for Gabe, this would be a big step forward against an incredibly good hitting team in Mississippi State. He worked around a walk and an error in the first and did not allow a run to score, which in a sense almost felt like a bit of a pick-me-up. The pitch just does float off that outside corner and miss.
This is a great at-bat by Garrick Fry. I mean, he took a change-up the pitch before that was just off the plate. That's a breaking ball that's just outside.
And Gackle misses high, so that's a 4-pitch walk. Second walk he's issued in the game. One of the things that comes up with Gackle is his stature. Looks a lot like a guy body-wise by the name of Roy Oswald, who pitched back in the day and was kind of a drop-in drive, smaller in stature guy with a big-time arm.
Pitched for the Astros,
He did, and you know, Chris Burke will be here tomorrow. He saw a lot of Roy O. This is Woodson going to take a strike and, you know, kind of get in that stat geek territory for a second in regards to Gackle. He has a vertical angle approach around minus 4.3 degrees, and I had Hobbs kind of help me out, try and figure out what that meant. And basically it's like anything else. Either you want a low number or a high number. In other words, Dietz has a high vertical approach angle, and Gackle is low. And that ball kind of comes out, but it stays on plane, so it looks a little bit different to the hitter at times.
Yeah, I think you're going to see guys get a lot of pop-ups because of that. When that ball stays on plane, you think it's going to come down and you're going to swing and you're going to catch the bottom of that baseball more often than not.
And that low approach angle is also effective at the top of the zone, so that's where the carry comes into play. Flip to first instead, and Fry, who's stolen 3 bases.
Yeah, I was just watching
Back
Fry over
diving.
there. I think the pitch before kind of bluffed to go into second base. Sometimes that's just a base runner trying to get a read on that pitcher.
That's laced to center field. Mike Anu starts to retreat. He's got good speed. He'll outrun the baseball and make the catch of the Ryder Woodson liner.
That baseball was hit right on the screws, and Mike Anu playing deep. And again, you talked about that speed, able just to run that baseball down. But that was 107 off the bat of Ryder Woodson.
2 gone for Andrew Raymond. Bounced out to second base. His only time in. Pitch comes down and in for a ball.
That one almost got away from Helfrich. I think he caught that baseball almost in the web of a catcher's mitt, which is really not where you want to catch the baseball.
Tell you what, both of these catchers have done a pretty nice job on smothering pitches in the dirt without too much drama. There's another flip to first, and Fry back in diving. I think the challenge for Rutenbar is getting used to handling those throws.
I think it was 98 across from the pitcher's mound to first.
Raymond, though, a transfer from George Mason, a Maryland native. Gackle lines one at the top of the zone. On that curveball.
Brett, this Arkansas outfield is playing incredibly deep with 2 outs, so you want to let a baseball go in front of you. Look where Mike Anu's playing out in center field.
Gackle misses downstairs, 2-1.
They're going to give up the single, but they just don't want the double to score that run. And that's the mindset of the defense. It's set by hitting coach and position coach Nate Thompson.
Yeah, I think a runner at first 2 outs, that is a wise play. We'll see how it shakes out for the Bulldogs and the Razorbacks. Pause from Gackle before the pitch. Paints over the inside corner with a changeup again. He's thrown that changeup a couple of times almost into the lefty.
Yeah, that's really unusual for him to go down and into lefties, but again, it's got pretty good fade, so it starts off the plate in, and then it just fades right over that inside corner.
That pitch would lock me up if I'm a left-hander.
Me too.
2-2. Comes back with a fastball and is hit in the air down the line and left, but well back and out of play. Gackle trying to work around a walk here in the 4th inning. 52 pitches into his start. There's a pitch that is tapped out in front of the plate. Helfrich pounces on it. Slings one to first to retire Raymond. And the Bulldogs strand a runner. 3.5 complete. Arkansas maintains a 2-0 lead. Stewart, when he was at Missouri State before he transferred, the other M State, this is what he has done in his career. 195 hits between the Bears and the Hogs. So, Troy, he's chasing 50 career homers and 200 career hits.
That's some pretty gaudy numbers for Zach Stewart, and he is just a difference maker in this Arkansas lineup. And before he kind of tweaked that groin, boy, he was hitting the baseball as hard as any Hog out there.
He had a 2-game midweek series where he had 4 hits in excess of 106, including one that was 114 off the shin of the second baseman for a double.
That was the second baseman was trying to get away from the baseball.
He was doing whatever he could to run away from the baseball, and it still got him. Hit a chopper that Stallman at first couldn't make the play on. Fry made an outstanding barehanded pickup, but it knocked in a run. You know, Arkansas wants to have his veteran bat and presence in the lineup, but also his power potential. But you know, if he laces a ball to the gap, Troy, he needs to be cautious. Discretion might be the better part of valor with an injury. Would that bother you at all from a lower base foundation standpoint with your swing?
Yeah, I think so. The question is it on the right leg or the left leg? I think if it's on his right leg, it's not as big of a deal as that one almost clipped him.
He almost got hit in that region.
He might look like Kirk Gibson out there running around the bases,
yes,
just hobbling.
The only question is, can he make it around the bases unassisted, is what Scully said in '88. Big wave and a miss at a 3-1 fastball.
Fastball, I think it was off the plate. Stewart just being a little aggressive right there. And I tell you what, as a hitter, you're going to get up against Ryan McPherson, and you just want to try to be aggressive on anything that's close to the zone.
3-2 pitch is at a mile in the air to very shallow left center. Woodson starts to drift out. More of Chance's play. He'll get there and make the catch. He's probably lucky it's a fairly wind-free night. Otherwise, that ball might have moved considering the long route he had to get there.
It was an absolute moonshot on that ball by Stewart, and another really good pitch by McPherson. I think Arkansas probably feels really lucky at this point to get a pair of runs off the right-hander.
No degree, 2 runs on 3 hits. Micah New, a strikeout victim back in the first. Got a pitch to hit, but at 96. Fouled it back off the catcher Raymond.
I think you got a piece of umpire Eddie Newsom as
right.
well. I think this is one of those catchers and umpires kind of work together. Watch this ball right off the mask, and Raymond's going to go out there and kind of buy Eddie Newsom a little bit of time.
Yes, I would agree.
He's still working that gum, probably just making sure that he's not chewing on any teeth in there.
Yeah, that one, there's just nothing you can do to brace or prepare for that. Micah swings and drives one in the air, left center field, well struck, back to the fence, and it is caught. It'll die in the glove of Teal. Felt like off the bat he didn't quite get enough, but he still made it somewhat close.
Boy, it was just the exit angle was just too high. 34 degrees, just an absolute towering fly ball, about 390 feet. But again, just hit it to the wrong part of the park.
You know, he had a real good series against Stetson, 8 for 14, 4 runs batted in. I think it kind of got lost considering Arkansas's struggles in the last couple of games. But he's 0 for 2 today, and here's Rutenbar. Rutenbar even made it to the post-game interview room on Monday after the 4-hit game in which Arkansas lost. And He said he knew with Ryder Helfrich here, he was going to have to fight his way up in other positions to get a chance to get on the field. And to his credit, he then has made the most of them, including starting at first base today after he batted cleanup on Monday.
We've talked about his football career in high school being a really good quarterback, and he just kind of has that football player mentality playing baseball.
There's a little bit of that, I don't know, comfort competing, if that makes sense. Takes strike 3, though, over the outside corner. McPherson, a nice bounce back inning. He's retired 6 in a row. 4 complete. Arkansas 2-0. Well, after 22 years at Virginia, Coach O'Connor knew it was real when it was the Diamond Dog Classic, the alumni game. There's Coach Polk, Will Clark. There were more than 10,000 fans there. You see Rafael Palmeiro, the 2 managers for these respective teams. Boy, that must have been something. And, you know, you're talking about the good old days with Thunder and Lightning, Troy.
Yeah.
They were among the very best.
Yeah, 1985 was a special year for those 2 guys.
And by the way, Coach O'Connor, he might not know this. This is the birthday of Will Clark. He turned 62.
Oh, wow.
Was he Thunder or Lightning? Does it matter?
I don't know if it matters. They're both pretty wicked nicknames.
This is Jacob Parker. So Will Clark, the 2nd overall pick in 1985, turned 62 today. That one is poked. That's a fair ball. Robinette made a pretty good go at it. Parker put that in a perfect spot and reaches with the infield base hit to begin the 5th inning.
Boy, just a cue ball off the end of the bat, and sometimes this one makes up for all the balls you hit really, really hard, and you could definitely see that ball was fair, and Robinette can't really do anything else besides that, and State gets another leadoff man on base.
2 previous times that did not come around to score. Brings up Bryce Chance. Finish the thought, though. I've got one son. He's a Will. So when you're playing baseball and you're playing well, of course you're the thrill.
Sure.
And then Rafael Palmeiro, his son Patrick, played at the independent minor league team in Sugar Land. And then there was a couple of nights where Rafi came back and played with him, and he must have been 50 plus, and Rafi's hitting bullets, right? Just hitting rockets until a hamstring got in the way. So I had Palmeiro sign a bat for my son. So there's my Thunder and Lightning connection between Will and Rafi. 2 very different guys, 2 incredible hitters. And Chance will take one for a strike over the outside corner. But, you know, Coach O'Connor had all the success you could have at Virginia, national championship, 7 trips to the College World Series. But both the crowds and the intensity are probably a little bit different at State and in the SEC.
Yeah, I think so. You know, no offense to the ACC, but, boy, the fans in the SEC are just built different.
Chance will foul one back and out of play. He popped up to Souza to end the 2nd. His first chance to be here at this ballpark. And again, these 2 head coaches, Stevie H and Coach O'Connor, gone up against each other in Omaha before. But starting out conference play, head-to-head here at Baumwalk. That's poked to the right side. It's going to sneak through. Rutenbar wasn't sure whether he should go after it or not. I don't think it would have mattered. Chance will single to right. It's a good beginning for Mississippi State. A couple of really soft singles to turn over this lineup.
It's a good piece of base running by Jacob Parker right there. That baseball, it almost got him. You know, and he just had to wait and let this ball get past him. Watch his hesitation right there. He's like, whoa, wait a second. That can't let it hit me. You're going to be out if it does.
But to me, Rutenbar got in that spot where he's like, do I have to go after it or do I have to get back to first? And he chose to get back to first.
Yeah,
I don't think it would have mattered.
No, I don't think so either. It was already through the hole.
Aiden Teal has a couple of base hits, including a rocket that went through the legs of Gabe Gackle back in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, still no outs for Arkansas. And this is an inning you just feel like that Mississippi State, they've turned this lineup over. And, boy, they're so dangerous. It's just kind of like playing with fire.
There's a chopper to the right side. Rutenbar is going to have to turn and flip to Gackle. Tell you what, the kid executed that. I thought he was almost in no man's land for a split second. In essence, it works as a sacrifice.
Yeah, I think that was a really heads-up play by Carter Rutenbar. And off the bat, you're always thinking, you see a ground ball, you're thinking double play. And he did not even look to first base. I think that was a smart move. Just get the out and try to let your pitcher get a pop-up or strikeout in this situation.
Well, again, these were two guys on the Team USA squad last year, Gackle and Reese. Reese bounced into a double play his last time in. Blisters one to center, but New was playing deep. He'll have to take it on a bounce. This will score a run, and it's a 2-1 game. Boy, Micah New was really deep in center, so even sprinting on, he could not get there. Another base hit, another RBI for Reese. That's 26 runs batted in. It's a 2-1 game.
Yeah, we talked about how deep Micah New's playing. You can see he's almost at the wall right there. And again, a ball that normally you think is going to be caught, hit to center field, and falls in easily. And with just one out, State's going to play station to station right there. I think that's a smart move of not sending Bryce Chance.
But it brings up Sullivan, who's 0 for 2. Now, he did reach on an error by Aloy and a drop fly ball in the first.
That's a great stash right there by Sullivan.
That's been his trademark. Raleigh Fingers-esque. And Sullivan 4th in the SEC in batting average, 5th in OPS. And he has a chance maybe not only to tie up this game, but to put his team in front. And Sullivan missed that one by a wide margin. That's what he's done in the last 5 games. 10 hits in 5 games with 3 homers.
I believe that's pretty good. Not too shabby.
Outstanding. 0 for 2 tonight, but he'd like to change that and at least tie up this game.
We see that Gacker really changed the eye level and pitching to one side of the plate, threw the breaking ball outside that Sullivan swung through and then tried to go up and in with the fastball.
65 pitches in for Gackle here in the 5th inning. Threw that curveball and dumped it in for a strike. Preseason All-SEC first team selection for Noah Sullivan. "15 homers a year ago." That one not close.
Gackle really kind of fell off the mound toward first
Sure
base.
did.
Just kind of overthrew that fastball right there. And again, that one really sailed on him. It was a good play by Helfrich just to keep that thing from going to the backstop.
Gackle's only had a couple of strikeouts. This would be a time for one. The 3-2 pitch fouled right back at us. Arkansas with single runs in the 1st and 3rd innings. Mississippi State on the board here in the 5th.
Over at first base, Ace Reese is 1 for 1 on the season in stolen bases, but he does not look like he's going to take off anytime soon.
Here's a payoff pitch. That's down. That's ball 4. And the bases are full of Bulldogs. Matt Hobbs ready to make a quick mound visit to check in on Gackle, Colt Gibbler in the bullpen, and we might see all the Team USA guys here in the series opener. And with the exception of last weekend, we did see Gibbler pretty much on Fridays coming on to finish games after Gackle exited.
This might be one of those opportunities here. You just wonder. Normally, it's Matt Hobbs having conversations, Dave Van Horn making the pitching changes, but going left on left, right here with Reed Stallman coming up. So here's some stats on Reed Stallman. He's hitting .483 against right-handers.
That ball's lifted in the air to center field. Not enough carry to get to the warning track. It will tie the game. Chance will tag. He will score. New plays it back in. Brand new game tied at 2 on the Reed Stallman sac fly. Chasing home Chance. So Arkansas gets the second out. Mississippi State gets the second run.
Seems like both those are manufactured runs right there.
would
Kind of
agree.
the old school way. Get a couple base hits and move some guys up, sack fly.
Really, which kind of set this inning in motion was that dribbler off the bat of Parker that stayed right over third base to begin this inning.
Was kind of one of those seeing eye singles, but stayed in front of the bases.
No doubt you'll take it. Gackle quickly jumps ahead of Gehrig Fry. 0-2.
Another one of those front door change-ups by Gabe
I'm not
Gackle.
sure how you hit that as a left-handed hitter.
Because if you try to hit it, if you get the barrel on it, you're going to pull it over almost into the dugout on the first base side.
0-2 pitch. Another pop-up. Camden Kojal waiting for this one to descend. It's never easy here at Baum-Walker, even on winless nights, and the catch is made. Couple of runs, though, for the Bulldogs. We're halfway home, tied at 2.
Can you say your middle name for us?
Kamakana Vehiva Maikaleva.
Can you spell it?
Yeah, it's 24 letters.
Try it. I got to hear this.
KAMAWEHIWAMAIKALEWA.
Troy, you were done after K.A.
Oh,
I was, middle name, 24 letters?
I was toast. I tell you what, you just hope that his grade school teachers didn't make him write that name on his papers.
I mean, we put him under the microscope. All right, spell it. And he got it. All 24 letters. He struck out looking back in the second. His parents, his family here from Hawaii this weekend, and he sprays one down the line and right and out of play. DVH, though, talking about his team, has used the phrase super slow starts for some guys. Now, Cahillo was not one of those, and yet he's had a couple of games, maybe the last 2 or 3 games, haven't felt truly Cahillo Aloy-like.
Yeah, I think when players have success on both teams, fans and even announcers like ourselves just expect them to just get hits and produce every single at-bat. Just kind of unrealistic expectations.
I think that's part of it. I think there's probably a little pressing. That's only natural. That's where a little baseball love might really help out. Arkansas jumped out to the 2-0 lead despite only the 3 hits, and then State answered with 2 in the top of the 5th. Big cut and a miss from Aloy.
Brett, we talked a little bit off air about that pop-up that Camden Kojal caught in that last inning. I tell you what, it's getting that scary kind of night right now where the sky just kind of goes gray. That baseball gets up above the lights and you just lose it.
It's the Glowman. Just got a piece of that to Aloy to stay alive. If you're just tuning in, tomorrow there will be 2 9-inning games starting at 1 o'clock with an hour between games. So no contest on Sunday. Mother Nature looks like she wants to bring some winds, some cold temperatures, maybe even a little snow and some rain. Sounds delightful, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's your kind of weather, Brett.
Yeah, stop it. If I could get south, I would. That's downstairs. Next week in the Cactus League and spring training in Arizona, they're already moving games from day to night because it's supposed to be 100 degrees plus. Woo. And of course, they play all those games for the most part during the day outdoors. So they're in for some fun in Arizona, but that sounds a lot better than snow flurries here.
I think so.
Cahillo trying to battle to begin this bottom of the 5th and get on base. He hits a high chopper to the shortstop, Woodson, who can't make the play. Maybe some tough spin on that one. And Arkansas, the beneficiary of a leadoff base runner.
Brett, Cahillo Aloy's been one of those guys that when he tomahawks a ball, he does, it's almost like a tennis player hitting a forehand. And watch this ball take off of that second hop. Really just jumped at Woodson, the shortstop.
He's lucky he didn't take that in the tee.
Yeah, I think so. That had a lot of spin on it. That is going to be an E6.
So it brings up Reese Robinette, who bounced to short. It's only at bat. We've seen Robinette from time to time play some third base in the fall. When he got his opportunity late last year, it was when Souza was hurt. Kozel went from first to second. Robinette played first. He did well, both defensively and then, of course, with his bat. And Dave said, he just kept working. He didn't pout. He practiced like a pro, and when his chance came, he was ready to go. And he said his defense was amazing. Well, now he comes to the lineup, to the ballpark today. He's in the lineup, but at third base.
Well, I think just like the play last year really kind of gave DVH some confidence to move him over there. Really good fastball with 2 balls by McPherson.
Put that up in the zone. That was a wave and a miss. And Dave added no one beat him out at first base, yet he's playing third tonight and batting 8th in this lineup for Arkansas. Hogs wouldn't mind taking advantage of that air. 2-1 pitch. A fastball at 96, just missed that outside corner.
Kahil Aloy over at first base, not really a threat to steal. And again, with the first baseman Stallman having to hold Aloy over at first base, creates that big hole to hit through. So you're going to see Aloy just kind of camp over there at first base.
Robinette did not get cheated. He got his money's worth on that swing. It's 3-2. Boy, a long ball at some point from the Razorbacks would really juice up this jam-packed crowd. Here's the payoff pitch. That's laced to center for a base hit. Aloy was running, so he'll easily turn and head to third. There's Razorbacks on the corners and nobody out.
Well, we just talked about Aloy not really a base stealing threat, but Arkansas and Dave Van Horn wanted to stay out of the double play, and just a rocket right off the bat. How about 95 miles an hour? Aloy making sure he's hitting second base. He goes in standing up to third.
Going to have a mound visit for the Bulldogs. Justin Parker, the pitching coach, was the one holdover on this staff. Fans calling the Hogs here at Baum-Walker during this mound visit. There's your starting pitchers to this point. Gackel didn't allow a run through 4 innings, touched up for a couple in the 5th. McPherson gave up single runs in the 1st and 3rd innings. Leadoff error put Aloy on base, and now he's working with some traffic, also at 66 pitches. So he's been pretty economical with that pitch count.
Yeah, he really has. And the thing with both Gackel and McPherson, they're guys that can get the strikeout. There's no doubt about it. So if you're Arkansas with no outs, you really feel like against an offense like Mississippi State, you've got to score more than 1 run right here. You need a crooked number to kind of get yourself a little bit of space, because the Bulldogs are just going to they're going to be relentless.
Yeah, I would agree. Here's Nolan Souza, doubled down the right field line in his last at bat and scored a run. Troy, it might be the best swing of the season for Souza.
It really was. That the bat stayed on plane. The swing was short. It wasn't a bad pitch. It was a fastball right under the hands.
Even a ground ball double play, though, should produce a run to put Arkansas in front. Up and out, 2-0.
Yeah,
top of the lineup, Ruiz on deck.
If you're Souza, you kind of have the thing in this situation. You can't pop out. You can't strike out. Everything else is going to produce a run.
McPherson does have 4 strikeouts, working from behind, and now he's really behind. 3-0.
Dave Van Horn's been known to give guys the take sign almost every time with 3 balls and no strikes.
A little bit of life in this crowd as McPherson delivers a 3-0 pitch at the top of the zone. Bulldogs swung away 3-0 a couple of times, I think, this past weekend against Lipscomb. But right now, Arkansas wants base runners. That man really would like to see Souza reach one way or another. See what McPherson wants to throw. 3-1. Long pause before the pitch. Well, he showed bunt and took a strike.
Wow, that was a shocker.
I mean, that's not a safety squeeze attempt, is it? Is
I
he
almost
intent
think- I
on
almost think
taking?
he was. I almost think he was trying to bunt for a hit down the third base line. But in that situation, you want to be swinging when you're in a hitter's count.
Especially when now it sends the count to 2 strikes where McPherson can try and get a big punch up. Liner off the glove of the shortstop Woodson. Foot race to second base. Robinette is out. Souza won't even get a hit off that, but he does get an RBI, and the Razorbacks take a 3-2 lead.
Boy, that one almost took the glove off of Woodson right there. An absolute rocket, and it just the deflection and heads-up play by him to understand that, hey, there's a runner at first. He's probably freezing. You see Aloy, as soon as he saw that ball on the ground, he had a great view to see that baseball down and scored easily.
Yeah, he had to score on that one. So Arkansas back in front. This has been a game of a picket fence type scoring system for Arkansas. Here's Ruiz. He scored back in the first, 1 for 2 in the game. Pitch way inside high. Feels like McPherson's been battling that command just a bit.
Well, the fastball is kind of sailing on him like Gackle did a little bit in his outing so far. I think that's just a sign of a pitcher just trying to overthrow just a little bit, Brett.
Of course, he snaps a good one to the outside corner for a strike.
Yeah, it's a really good call right there. When you see a pitcher, throwing up in the zone with the fastball, try to slow that arm speed down with a call of a breaking ball.
McPherson set right at his belt, flipped to first, and Souza back in diving. McPherson works from that far first base side of the rubber. I don't know if Souza's much of a candidate to run, but I think right now he's trying to kind of reset at times between pitches and give himself a chance to kind of slow things down just a bit. That pitch count was not a factor a moment ago, but as you start to get deeper into this inning, you start to think this could be your last inning. Now, he could easily get a double play and soldier on for a few more, but Gackle was sort of teetering a bit in the top of the inning, and maybe McPherson going through the same thing in the bottom of the 5th. The pitch to Ruiz, and that's right at the top of the zone. A good one for a called strike.
Yeah, Souza only 2 for 4 on stolen bases on the year. He does have good speed, but sometimes good speed doesn't correlate to a guy that can steal bases. It's definitely an art to be able to read a pitcher and get good jumps.
One thing about how deep both of these teams play, and it's not just this game or these teams. I mean, it's everybody now in baseball. And we talked about it before. You're trying to cut down that double. You're trying to make the catch on the warning track. It's pretty easy to go first to third. Ruiz checks on a pitch that came up and in. A quick appeal to Matthew Wilbanks at first. He says no swing, and it's 2-2.
I like how Eddie Newsom, the home plate umpire, did that. A lot of times they'll wait for the catcher to kind of entice them to make that call down to first base. He just kind of offered. He said, "Hey, help me out there." Did he go on that swing?
Ruiz will swing, and he lifts one to the first base side. I don't think Stallman sees it, neither does Fry, and it didn't matter. You mentioned this a couple of moments ago. Neither one of those infielders saw that baseball, and they were lucky it ended up in the seats.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, on a pop-up or fly ball, especially with 2 outs, you better run hard, because, again, when the ball gets up above the lights this time of night, it just absolutely disappears. It just looks like a little bitty gray dot, and it seems like it's a little more light on the screen, TV screen, than it is here in the park.
That's picturesque, unless you're trying to catch a baseball. Ruiz lifts one to left. Chance starts to drift. He should have room. Does he see the baseball? He does. He might have been trying to deke Souza, because he threw out his hands as if to say, I don't see it, but I think he had it measured the entire time. That's
a veteran play right there.
Yeah.
He was just trying to kind of trick and deke Souza over at first base.
That's the case, though. You hope to catch it, right? You hope that.
That's right.
you've sold it in case it falls, that maybe you didn't see it. This is Koschel. Drove in a run with a ground out in the third that put Arkansas up 2-0. Singled back in the first. 24 hits on the season for Koschel. He leads Arkansas in just about every offensive category.
Well, the fastball's still there for Ryan McPherson. That was right under the hands of Camden Koschel.
Now he's down 0-2. Two outs and 2 strikes. And that's strike 3 call. Koschel rung up on a pitch over the inside corner, and McPherson gets himself out of that inning, and Arkansas gets just the run. Hogs back in front by a tally. This was the K that ended at 3-2 Razorbacks. Feels a little different for these conference openers. Certainly a juiced up building at Baum Walker. Back and forth we've gone. Arkansas leading 3-2 as we go to the 6th inning. I'll tell you what, that's pretty scenic and picturesque at Baum Walker. Ryder Woodson is 0 for 2, and he's going to foul one back and out of play. Woodson homered in game 1 of the Lipscomb series, his first of the year. Last weekend, 403 feet. Now remember, they played on Thursday, Friday, and then they played Saturday at 10 a.m. So they had a long stretch of rest over the weekend. They did play midweek in Biloxi.
Look at this left forearm by Woodson right there. That's got some blood on that one.
Well, it sure does.
That doesn't look good.
He's been involved in a couple of crazy plays at shortstop tonight.
Might have been on the time the ball he dove to get Sousa's ball.
I think you're right.
You don't see that very often on a grass dirt field, that you see a scrape like that.
And Gackel just does miss off the corner.
Good take, good pitch, just all the way around.
You know, Coach O'Connor this week told us that Woodson's really been one of the big keys for this team. Always got a smile on his face. He's got some blood on his arm, and he's going to wave and miss. And Gackel gets the K to start the 6th inning.
Well, that's the pitch right there that is kind of eluded Gackel. I think last season when he really started struggling in those starts was that breaking ball down and away. It's just almost unhittable. You can't take it as a hitter, but you almost can't hit it either.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, as the K counter moves up to 3, because he's able to throw now, in essence, maybe 3 pitches for strikes or at times 4. It does just add one more thing for these hitters to consider, and just to keep them a little bit off balance.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and again, not afraid to throw that changeup to either side of the plate makes that pitch really good.
Raymond's 0 for 2. Again, the Bulldogs came in averaging 10.7 runs per game. Is that a swing? It is not. And Troy, this team, this offense, 8th in scoring, 4th in batting average in the country, 9th in on-base percentage, and slug. See the side swing. I don't think that's a swing.
No.
8th in OPS. So that's where they came in ranked in all the major categories.
Yeah, they're getting it done at the plate, that's for sure. And again, Arkansas with the 1-run lead, and you just don't feel like that's going to be enough.
Agreed.
Now, the Arkansas staff is really good. So, like we talked about in the open, it's going to be who's going to win. It's going to be the power versus power.
Gackel over 80 on the pitch count. Tell you what, if he comes back and puts up a 0 here in the 6th after his team got the lead for him in the bottom of the 5th, that's one of those mini little momentum swings in a game.
I think so.
Under the glove of Robinette and down the line and left. Ruiz will play it back in. Raymond shot one to left at 100 mph to get the 1-out base hit.
Yeah, this ball was scorched. Just a great piece of hitting right there, and it just got past Robinette before he could really react.
Troy, it's got to feel different when you've been at first base and now you're over there at the hot corner.
Yeah, because you feel like you're usually playing when nobody's on at first base, you're playing almost at the cut of the grass.
Just the angles and the velocity and everything that comes with playing third. And here's Jacob Parker. You know, Troy, I get to do a lot of the perfect game events around the country, and you're talking about national showcases. When you see the very best young talent in the country, and a couple of years ago at the Diamondbacks Stadium, I got to see the Parker brothers. Now, JoJo, his twin, was drafted 8th overall by the Blue Jays. Jacob was taken in the 19th round by the Diamondbacks, but obviously made it to school. I came away after watching those two that weekend, and I just said one word: wow. I mean, it was exit velocity. It was juice. They looked like men among boys. And you're thinking if State gets one of the two to campus, that's a big deal. If they got both, it would have been a coup.
Yeah, when you're drafted 8th overall, that's money that you can't really turn down.
I mean, that decision is made for you. You're talking about a couple of kids, though, from Purvis, Mississippi. I'm sure it was a dream maybe to play college baseball in state. And obviously, Jacob got to campus, and he's had a couple of hits tonight, so his average up over 300. They're trying to find a way to get him on the field as he takes a strike. And, you know, right now, as a talented freshman, you're competing with the 11 or 12 others for playing time.
Yeah, and again, with his skill set, you know, they're going to be able to find him a home. But boy, he can sure get it done at the plate.
That's a swing, I believe. Quick appeal. Plate umpire Eddie Newsom did it on his own, and that is a strikeout. A couple of Ks for Gackle in the 6th.
Another that big breaking ball, and yeah, he just could not hold up right there. And see Helfrich trying to go call down third base, and he turns around and goes to the home plate umpire, and Newsom rings him up.
I'll tell you what, that's one that I think is a swing, but I'd really prefer asking a third.
I agree with you right there. That third base umpire's got such a good angle.
Bryce Chance.
So Helfrich tried to catch that ball close to the body, and that's what good catchers do. You trying to kind of make that pitch look like it's a better than what it is when it crosses home plate.
Chance will spray one to right field. He's got a second base hit. Eloy will slip. Heading to third is Raymond, the catcher. The throw to second base is offline, and the Bulldogs have runners at second and third with 2 outs. When Cahillo went down, I think Arkansas lucky that it wasn't a speedster going first to third, or he might have considered trying to score.
Just a great swing by Chance, shot it out to right field. The thing kind of skips on Cahillo. He tries to get around that baseball, and it almost looked like he didn't have spikes on. That foot just slipped, and Cahillo's got a great arm, but Chance has got too much speed to get thrown out at second base.
173 games for Chance. He's been a lifetime Bulldog. Arkansas appreciates the performance tonight of Gabe Gackle, done after 90 pitches. He'll leave a couple of runners on base. We'll step aside and come right back to Baum Walker. Gibbler's coming to the game. All 5 members of these 2 teams that were part of Team USA have appeared in game 1 of this series.
Well, you got to get your talent in the ball game, and that's what Arkansas is doing right here with Cole Gibbler, a guy that's got a fastball that sits around 91 to 94 miles an hour, and just a tremendous sweeping slider, really tough on left-handers.
With that strikeout to walk ratio, Gabe Gackle with the 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, couple of earned runs. I know he'll breathe easier if Gibbler can retire Aiden Teal and keep that earned run number at 2 and keep Arkansas in front.
I don't know what's going on in this game. Gackle's got some blood on that right thigh. I mean, we got guys bleeding all over the place.
We got
here.
guys fighting under the grandstand or something?
I don't know what's happening, but this game is an absolute brawl.
Aiden Teal has a couple of base hits. He rolled out to Rutenbar with Gackle covering back in the 5th. Lefty-lefty matchup, soft pop-up. Third base side, it should escape and be back in the seats about 6 rows beyond the State dugout. Well, Mississippi State in their last 2 games before tonight had 32 hits and 35 runs batted in. They knew it'd be a little tougher sledding. They were down 2-0, tied it up at 2 apiece. Arkansas jumped back in front, but a base hit from Teal would put the Bulldogs, you would think, back in front, or in front for the first time.
You think Teal's going to see a steady diet of sliders right here by Cole Gibbler.
There's their ranks again entering play. 4th in doubles, 4th in batting average, hits, runs, all the big categories. Team had 5 of their top hitters from a year ago back under a new head coach, and supplemented around them with some talented Virginia players and some guys in the portal. And mentioned the freshmen like Parker. Really a nice blend for a team that played well down the stretch last year, but I know it was not the type of season they expected at Mississippi State. 15-15 in league play, 36 wins overall. And toward this team with that coaching change, I mean, they jumped right back in the mix in the SEC and nationally. And I know both of these teams, though, are at that point in this game where they really want to find a way to advance this a little bit further to a win. And Gackel gave way to Gibbler. Gibbler will walk the first man that he faced, and he lost that left-on-left battle.
Yeah, like you said, that these are two fan bases in Mississippi State and Arkansas that just have such high expectations for their baseball teams, and it's kind of Omaha or bust, really. And you know, it's they come out and support their teams. There's no doubt about it, but they expect a lot of success.
Here's a man who's had a lot of it this year, Ace Reese. Single and an RBI in the 5th. Gibbler's pitch misses. We don't have the benefit of TrackMan now in conference play. It felt like that was a pretty good looking pitch.
You can almost always tell by what the catcher does. Almost felt like that Helfrich kind of stuck that one.
Bases full of Bulldogs. Breaking ball hit out into right center field. Micah New will glide into the gap and make the catch, and the Bulldogs loaded him up and left him loaded. Gibbler does his job. Arkansas maintains a 1-run lead. Live in. I mean, LSU went from number 2 to ranked 13th after they lost a home series to Sac State. Florida was almost swept. They had to come back in the 9th inning of Game 3 to avoid being swept at home to High Point. Arkansas ended up losing the last couple of games to Stetson. And Troy, I think we all understand as college baseball's older than ever before that more of these upsets are going to happen. You just don't want it to happen to your team. You understand when it happens to the other team.
That's so true. And what fans don't realize is I was fortunate enough to play on a couple teams that Arkansas had their most wins in 1987-89, 51 wins. But guess what? Both years we had the same record of losses. We had 16 losses that year. So even with a tremendous season, 16 losses.
I think Helfrich just said that ball grazed his jersey.
I think Dave's gonna want to have this reviewed. This is big because that's a leadoff man on.
Indeed it is. Helfrich turned to plate umpire Eddie Newsom and said that ball may have grazed his jersey as he jumped out of the way, but we're going to take a peek after this next pitch. We're just going to play on. And Helfrich will pop one up back and out of play. I guess it's hard to tell when it grazes a jersey rather than an elbow guard or something, or a shoe.
It's tough to see on that angle.
Does the ball change any direction? I think it did. I think it grazed you. You saw a little angle there.
Yeah. Helfrich kind of looked like he said something. We got something being thrown out.
Watch this ball, though. Instead of kind of continuing up and in, watch it kind of come on a different plane.
Well, it almost looked like his jersey moved a little bit as well.
Zapruder like. Helfrich 0 for 2.
I guess he called that on the swing.
Yes, he did.
In between pitches, somebody from the Mississippi State dugout ran out and gave Reese, the third baseman, a pitch comm on his wrist. So there was activity. We were watching on the screen of Helfrich, did he get hit or not? And we got all kinds of shenanigans going on in the infield.
That's strike 3. That was not a fun sequence for Helfrich. McPherson came right back out to pitch in the bottom of the 6th inning against the heart of Arkansas's lineup, and it's a good start. And now I think Eddie Newsom's hearing it from Arkansas's dugout. DVH is giving him a few words.
Yeah, there's a conversation happening, I would have to say.
I would agree.
Again, just McPherson
Again, no walks.
Yeah, no walks, just really competitive.
Here's Zach Stewart. That pitch almost grazed him.
It's about the second or third pitch that's almost hit Zach
Yep.
Stewart through. You can tell they're definitely trying to pitch him in.
Hit a mile-high fly ball to left in his last at bat.
And down and in. Down and in and then up and away. That's a change-up right there, and McPherson didn't like that baseball.
You know, we ran through a couple of news and notes. There was one more story in college baseball I wanted to touch on, time permitting. Kind of a tearjerker. One I think kind of puts it in perspective, just simply playing this game. And there's no doubt these two teams want to win this one. But here's the 2-0 to Stewart. He'll wave and miss. The Iowa Lakes Junior College program is back in action. It was February 11th. They were coming to Arkansas. They were coming to Harrison, Arkansas. Their bus overturned. It killed a player. Others were seriously hurt. They have not played since until today. So they're back in action. I think they're up playing in the Vikings football stadium. It's been a tragic situation. And, you know, you think about the loss of life, and then you're trying to get back. And at some point you got to play, and that day is today.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I think that as teammates that lost their life or got hurt, you know, they love the game of baseball. And sometimes it's almost therapeutic to get back on the field and play. Had a teammate in college that lost his mom to pneumonia one year, and that scene, he said it really helped him to get back on the field, just kind of get back to normalcy. It's tough, and you feel for those families.
That one's ripped to right. When this one lands, Zach Stewart took a chunk out of the building. Fireworks fly. Arkansas has taken a 4-2 lead on a 115 mph laser from Zach Stewart. I'm not sure there's anybody who hits the ball any harder on this Razorback team, and that one did some damage. Hogs up by 2.
Brett, I think that groin feels pretty good right about now. But how about 432 feet? It was just an absolute rocket off the bat of Zach Stewart. And again, that's the bat that wasn't in the lineup against those two losses against Stetson. And he just changes the complexion of this batting order, because he just has so much thump, and he just has like that experience at the plate. Watch this baseball leave the bat.
Watch it disappear, and then I thought it might hit the windows. He knew it was out. Watch where this one hits above the windows, and goodness gracious.
I think that put a dent in the facade.
I mean, the dugout was up for grabs, and Zach Stewart on career homer number 48 got a little bit of SEC experience of enjoying this crowd rooting for him and not against him. As Micah New tried to go back-to-back. I mean, 115 off the bat. I mean, it was out of here in a blink of an eye.
That looked like a driver.
Goodness, and Micah New sees the count go to 1-1. The run Arkansas scored in the 5th was unearned to put them ahead 3-2, and then Stewart had the bomb. And for Zach, it's his 4th in 28 at-bats. And Troy, I just want to finish the thought, though, on that Iowa Lakes team. The young man who died was having a hard time getting on the field. And before the trip to Arkansas, his dad sent him a picture of him as a kid and said, I want you to play with joy like this young man did. Dude's going to wave and miss. And the kid said back, he goes, what are you talking about, Dad? I won the lottery. I've got 2 of the best parents ever.
Oh, wow.
And then he didn't make it to Arkansas. So anyhow, they're back in action tonight, and I want to wish them the best as McPherson gets strikeout number 7.
Yeah,
there's just so many stories in college baseball, and some we missed. But that was one that I didn't, since they were coming down to Harrison in Arkansas from Iowa.
Yeah, just thoughts and prayers with that family.
I tell you what, this crowd, though, is a little bit subdued, Troy, and not in a bad way, but certainly that home run from Stewart gave that dugout a shot of adrenaline, and maybe this crowd as well.
Yeah, they're starting to argue balls and strikes. And
they're starting to grumble.
That's when you get they're a little edgy.
They know Eddie's name, Eddie Newsome. They're wondering why he's giving pitches that he didn't 2 innings ago. I mean, they're locked in. And it's the proximity by which these fans sit to the action and the plate and the umpire that make for some spicy conversations. 2-2 now to Rutenbar, who's 0 for 2 in the game.
That's a really tough pitch to take right there. That looks like the splitter. And it's got good velocity, and out of the hand it looks like a fastball and just falls off the table.
Rutenbar liked the swing from Stewart. That helmet goes rattling around the lettuce when you take a big vicious swing.
It's got just too much hair. That's the problem.
At some point, it starts to rattle in front of your eyes. McPherson gets the chopper foul. Do you think this is his last batter at 102? Almost has to be, doesn't it?
Yeah, I almost think so. There's been several pitchers up in the Mississippi State bullpen.
McPherson's next one, and boy, Rutenbar continues to foul them right at the plate near his feet or that shin guard.
He just kind of has that term. I just kind of categorize him as scrappy, is Carter Rutenbar.
He's the guy who probably wears that eye black to class.
it might help.
Another 2-2, and that was a bit of a late swing, and it was fouled into the glove of Raymond for a K. So McPherson gets 3 Ks in the inning. Zach Stewart had the missile home run, 4-2 Hogs as we go to the 7th. Just as this game heads to the 7th inning, TJ Pompey comes off the bench. He'll be at third base. Robinette, who was at third, goes back across the diamond to first. And Cole Gibbler got the final out in the 6th and left the bases loaded. Back to work against the heart of the state lineup in the 7th.
I mean, one thing for fans of both teams, thinking about Cole Gibbler, he's a guy that could have been a starter this season, and so he can definitely throw the rest of this game for Arkansas.
Noah Sullivan leads off, 0 for 2 with a walk. Takes a first pitch strike at 91 from Gibbler. Gibbler last year, when he started appearing in games, just didn't have the temperament of a freshman. There was a certain confidence. There was a calm about him. And it just got him more work as the season went along.
Quickly got into that circle of trust for DVH, didn't he?
And that slider was the pitch that befuddled hitters. 2-1 pitch, and there it is. And Troy, he says that it moves different every time he throws it. He grips it and rips it. He keeps it simple. Doesn't try to make it move more or less, but it does. And I think that's why it's so effective.
Yeah, and it's so weird because that's just different pressure on either finger that he's throwing that pitch with and how it comes off those fingertips.
And he came back with a fastball, and it was hit hard to Souza with a bobble, but he'll pick it up, make the play, and throw out Sullivan to begin the top of the 7th inning.
It's a good job by Souza right there. You just kind of almost have to be a catcher in that situation. Really hard hit ball by Noah Sullivan with 2 strikes, but just get your body in front of it. Knock it down, especially at second base. You've got all the time in the world to pick that baseball up off the ground and make an easy
throw. You
throw.
sure do. Here's Reed Stallman, had a sacrifice fly back in the 5th. Chased home the second state run. At the time, it tied up the game at 2 apiece. But you're right about Gibbler, and again, Matt Hobbs told us really there were 4 guys who earned a chance to be starters on the weekend, and Gibbler was the only guy who had any experience coming out of the bullpen. Early in the year, it was maybe easier to have him back up Gackle because you're thinking your starter might go 4 or 5, and then he could go 4 or 5.
Right.
At some point, as Gackle goes deeper, as he did last week with 99 pitches, they didn't bring in Gibbler. He pitched later in the series. But at some point, either he's a 1 game a weekend pitcher, or if you want him to close, then you can't use him for 4 innings or so on a Friday or a Thursday.
Kind of a borderline pitch that went against Gibbler in that situation. You can see the hometown fans not quite pleased.
I tried to ask Gibbler before the season what role he preferred. He needs a strike here on the 3-0 pitch to Stallman, and he gets one. He wasn't biting. He said, I want innings. I said, yeah, but what type of innings? Those in which you know in advance you're starting, or when you're coming in? I want innings.
I think the answer to that question was yes.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Old man, leave me alone. 3-1 pitch. Came back with a slider but missed. That brings the tying run to the plate. Brings up Garrick Fry, who's 0 for 2. He's trying to extend his hitting streak to 16 games. Did walk in the 4th inning.
Well, even when Mississippi State hasn't scored, they have had base runners on the base paths.
They sure have. And appeal to first, and I don't think it matters. I think plate umpire Eddie Newsom said that's a swing on Fry.
I like his little movement there. He did the little twirl. Said, yeah, he went.
I think it's the difference between non-con and conference play when you have hitters trying to check on pitches that have the break or the drop that you haven't seen over the last few weeks, I would imagine.
Yeah, the last time they probably saw pitches like this was when they were playing an inter-squad game.
Either maybe that one weekend where you go to Arlington or Houston, whatever that looks like. It's fouled at the plate. Ryder pounced on it quickly, but clearly that hit something else before it propelled in front of the dish.
Definitely think I ricocheted off of Fry's leg.
Couple of home runs on the year for Fry. Gibbler set his pitch. That's a wave and a miss.
Great changeup right there by Cole Gibbler. That's a pitch he hasn't really landed today, but that was the best one so far to this outing. Watch this thing fade away. Starts right off the edge of the plate and no chance on Fry. You can see he was way out in front.
You could tell by the swing sometime if you're not paying attention to anything else. The way he was extending and reaching for that pitch out in front.
I tell you the thing that makes that a really good pitch, it was only like 5 or 6 miles an hour slower than the fastball, and that's just enough to miss the barrel.
Good point as Woodson takes a strike. He's about 92-ish on the fastball. That changeup was 86. So he really doesn't take a ton off, but obviously it's enough for the hitters.
And State really can't run in this situation when you're down 2.
Short lead for Stallman. Chop it to third. Remember, Pompey just came in. He's going to have to sling it to first to Robinette. Play is made and the inning is over. So the Bulldogs strand their 10th runner of the game. Hawks still up by 2. Stretch time at Baum-Walker. 33 batted in for Georgia. Brendan Lawson leads the SEC in on-base percentage and slug. He's put up some big numbers. 9 homers. Judd Udemark, 10 homers. 29 runs scored, and Braden Holcomb for an up-and-down Vandy team also has 10 homers and 31 runs batted in. Arkansas doesn't have anybody in these categories or these territories, but there's some individuals entering league play on some heaters.
Well, Daniel Jackson has probably got more home runs than quite a few teams in D1 baseball.
That's crazy. 14 home runs.
And by the way, there's a guy at Mizzou, Tyler Macon, who's 30 for 63 this year. A 476 batting average.
Wow.
There's some crazy numbers. This has been a pitcher's game tonight, as you would expect, and Jack Gleason comes on out of the bullpen for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, redshirt freshman Gleason, you see his numbers there. Incredible strikeout to walk ratio. Again, throws a 4-pitch mix guy, throws a slider and cutter. Opponent's only hitting 154 off of Gleason. And how about right-handers hitting 045 in 11 innings?
Redshirted a year ago, looks at Kahio Aloy to begin the bottom of the 7th inning, 7, 8, and 9. Kahio reached on an error by the shortstop Woodson in the 5th, and Arkansas scored him to take the lead. Gleason's father, Gary, played football at Mississippi State.
You can see the shift on for Kahio Aloy as Fry, the second baseman, playing right behind second base, right up the middle.
A little different slot of the batting lineup for Kahio tonight as he takes a strike. And we've seen him 3rd, we've seen him 4th, 7th today. Part of a number of different changes. He was 5th on Monday.
You can see Gleason's really trying to work Kahio Aloy away. The breaking ball's away, the fastball in the outside corner.
Why would you shift on him if you were working him away?
Not really sure.
Assume that he's not going to do it or not going to try? He's going to try and pull it into the shift?
I think he's just so scary middle to end.
I'm sure Arkansas is thinking about padding this 4-2 lead. They've been out hit 8-5, and that's strike 3 over the outside corner. Hawk struck out 3 times last inning, and Gleason begins his outing with a K.
Yeah, I think Aloy was thinking he was going to get a breaking ball right there. Gleason just painted the fastball on the outside corner. That's just a great pitch.
Well, that's perfect.
We got first baseman Reese Robinette coming up.
There
to the
you
plate.
go. Singled in the 5th. Again, not many hits for Arkansas, just 5. You know, if this score was 4-2 State, the Arkansas fans would be saying, 5 hits? You only have 5 hits? After losing 2 games to Stetson? But when you're ahead, then you've efficiently utilized
That's
your 5
right.
hits. Robinette just tattoos one, but foul down the line. Reese has had some better swings as of late, just like Sousa, who's on deck. And Arkansas, again, just kind of searching for a little more depth through that man's lineup. Again, they had 12 doubles against Stetson, and that man likes doubles. I like balls that clear the fence. We can probably compromise at some point.
They're both good.
Pitch floats high and misses. There was just a lot of traffic, though, Troy, on Sunday and Monday, and Arkansas didn't do much with leadoff runners and guys on base.
I think, what were they, almost like 1 for 30 or something like that with runners in scoring position? Yeah.
Robinette, a big swing. That got a piece of Raymond. Fouled it back. Might have got him on that hand or that wrist. He's working it out.
Tell you what, these catchers in college baseball just absolutely take a beating behind the plate. It's a wonder they can actually hit as well as they do.
Makes you wonder why anybody would want that role. Bottom of the 7th, and Robinette trying to get on base for Sousa, and then maybe Ruiz. Arkansas scored single runs in 4 different innings. Pitch fades down and misses. 2-2.
Robinette just has veteran at-bats. I mean, that's just a really tough pitch with 2 strikes to take, and he took it pretty easily.
See what he gets on the next pitch. High fastball and a wave and a miss. The last 6 Arkansas outs that have been recorded by State have all been Ks.
That's an easy way to not have errors. Not that
that's true.
This State team came in and fielding the ball really well. I think they came in fielding 983. So they can. You talk about how offensive they are. They can really pick it, flashing the leather out there. But when you got your pitchers pumping strikes and striking at the last 6 guys, you're in the field. You're just kind of getting a little bit bored.
Probably fun to watch. Not a lot of activity. Here's Sousa. Doubled in the 3rd. He got a fielder's choice RBI in the 5th when he drilled one to the shortstop Woodson, who couldn't make the catch but got the force at second base.
Sousa's hit the ball really hard a couple times tonight.
Of course, Gleason on for McPherson. 6 innings. 3 earned runs. No walks again. He's a strike thrower, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. And those kind of numbers give your team a chance to win, and that's what he did.
It's an interesting rotation for Mississippi State because they're all sophomores.
Yeah, that's something that really caught my eye. Arkansas goes junior, 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 and that's what you normally see in SEC with your weekend rotation.
Sousa clubs one down the line and left. This one starts to bend foul, and it goes to the left of the pole. Maybe not quite home run distance. Another pretty good swing by Sousa. That's an inviting target at 320 down the left field line.
Well, you knew that thing was going to have some slice to it, and there's absolutely no wind at Baum Walker tonight. There's some days that wind might help keep that ball fair. Sousa's got to fix that tricep pad and get it back in place.
Gleason has entered here in the bottom of the 7th, struck out both Razorbacks that he's faced. Well, Sousa just shoots one down the line and left. The second hit for Nolan. 3 good swings tonight, and I think, Troy, everybody saw signs that Sousa was starting to come out of this slow start over the last few games, and he's paid it off this evening.
Well, he really has, and we're talking to him around the batting cage today, and you could tell he just kind of had that attitude and kind of taking a term out of Camden Kojal's thing is just because I felt dangerous at the plate. I said that's a good way to feel.
At any point, did he tell Bubba and you to leave him alone?
He's too nice.
He is too nice.
He's too nice.
I tell you what, you find out how many people think they're hitting coaches when you're not hitting. As Damian Ruiz takes one for a strike over the outside corner, and you hear the term or the phrase, a lot of voices in your head and whatnot, but at some point when you do turn, you do calm down a little bit in that box.
It's amazing when your heartbeat slows down how much better you see the baseball. Boy, Gleason, really quick move over to first base. He's quick to the plate as well. He's about 1.25, and that's really tough to steal bases.
I mean, that alone kind of, I think, takes you out of that equation unless you're a gambler. I mean, Arkansas wouldn't mind having a runner at second base, and there goes Sousa. Well, he never threw the pitch.
The spike just got caught.
Yes.
But boy, you really don't see that happen very often.
I took my eye off Gleason watching Sousa's break, and then that's what happened.
Yeah, that back foot kind of spun out a little bit, and I think it's like it got on top of the rubber instead of, a lot of pitchers, they'll dig out a spot right beside that rubber.
I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah,
that
I
could have
know.
been a tough
Twist an ankle or
Yes.
just tweak something.
kind of yank something in the hammy or in your leg.
See, that would happen to me and you because we're old, but, when you're young and
Maybe. I mean, youth is
yeah,
truly
watch
wasted
this
on the
back
young.
foot right here. See, it just spun on him.
Sure did. Kind of jackknife.
Yeah, man, I'm glad he's okay.
Good shot from our crew.
Great job. Yep.
Well, now Sousa is in scoring position where a base hit from Ruiz should give the Razorbacks their 5th run. It's knocked down again by Raymond.
And again, with 2 outs, the state outfield is playing very deep, and Sousa can really run at second base. So maybe if it's a one-hopper right at somebody, that they have a chance to throw him out, but I even think then it's going to be tough.
I do too. You got to believe there's a moment tonight for Damian Ruiz where he's thinking, wow, this is the big stage of Bum Walker in the SEC. Lifted in the air, down the line and right. Parker heading into the corner, nearing the pole, and that ball's going to go foul up there in the Loge boxes. I mean, Ruiz was part of that game at Globe Life, Troy, when Arkansas and TCU had almost 23,000. But I know at Lamar they're not putting 9,000-10,000 fans for the season.
I was going to say the whole season for one night.
For a game. And that's a pretty good mid-major program. But, you come here and you look out there and you're like, there's not an open seat to be had. Hog pen's packed. Suites are packed. And I'm on the big stage trying to knock in an insurance run.
It's going to have to try to slow that heartbeat down just a bit.
Gleason's 1-2. Another one lifted to right. Didn't quite get extended on that one. Parker underneath it. He'll make the catch and the inning is over. Arkansas gets a hit. They strand a runner in scoring position. On we go to the 8th. 4-2 Razorbacks.
2 on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. And here's our game summary. McPherson and Gackle have done a great job on the mound. You can see their numbers and big days at the plate. You've got Jacob Parker with a pair of hits. Nolan Sousa with a double and a single. And how about the rocket by Zach Stewart, Brett?
Yeah, that was something else.
We also have a new right fielder. Christian Turner is in the ball game.
Okay.
Freshman.
Same hometown as Peyton Stovall in Louisiana. Getting his first SEC experience. Gibbler back to work in the 8th. 4-2 Arkansas. Again, tomorrow there's going to be 2 games starting at 1 o'clock. The network boys, Dave Neal and Chris Burke, will take you all 18. They're going to go the distance with 2 CGs tomorrow.
They better pack a lunch. That's all I've got to say.
It's going to be a day.
Yeah, Berkey's probably going to have time to break down the SEC basketball tournament, maybe some NFL free agent discussion or some Kentucky high school baseball predictions.
He's got a wide range of subjects he can
Pontificate. This is James, who's going to pinch it here in the bottom of the 8th inning. It's a good thing because they'll have the 18 innings tomorrow.
They'll have plenty of time to kind of go around the horn on topics.
John James is a right-handed batting catcher in this true platoon for Coach O'Connor. Bouncing ball to Souza. Easy play. One gone in the top of the 8th inning.
You just wonder if Souza was going to think about underhanding that flip over to Robinette at first base.
He told us he would do that. You know, pinch hit catchers late in games,
Yep.
depending on right or left pitchers on the mound. So Gackel gave way to Gibbler, and Gibbler gets the out. Here's Jacob Parker. He's going to give way to a pinch hitter as well. Now this kind of allows us to
work our magic with pronunciation.
This is Vitas Valencius. Valencius, his brother is Tomas, who's on this team. He's Valinkas.
That's interesting.
We're not even close. Hold on, there's more. And that pitch a little bit in. You might be saying, well, you know, what does the family prefer? Well, they don't prefer either of these two options. They go with Valencius.
That's wild.
It's like the Avicic brothers. We had Big Z here, and he was Avicic, and his brother was at Illinois. Now they're there together. He was Ivicic. Well, and I didn't quite understand this, but this is Valencius, not to be confused with his brother Valinkas or the family Valencius. What do you make of all that?
You can't
Troy?
even make that up. That's just crazy.
Another ground ball to Souza. Another 4-3 in your scorebook, and there's 2 outs.
But Cole Gibbler's just being efficient. So Nolan Souza's glad that in between innings they went out there and drugged the infield.
They did.
And so it's just, that thing was as smooth as silk as it came out to him at second base. No bad hops.
Bryce Chance will bat. Well, this kid's just a great story, though, for Mississippi State. Redshirted in 2022, and Troy, this is, I think, career game number 173, 157 starts, lifelong State fan, more than 100 career RBIs. He got married this offseason. His father, Chris, a longtime member of the Stack Crew for football and basketball. This guy bleeds Mississippi State.
Yeah, you can just tell, and some guys are just ultra, got ultra tools and just amazing athletic ability. And Bryce Chance is one of those guys. He's got good skills, but again, he just has baseball smarts. It just makes him that much of a better player.
And again, he reminds me a little bit of when Carson Chatty was batting ninth for Arkansas.
Yeah, just a scary, dangerous number 9 hole hitter.
A veteran hitter at the bottom of your lineup that can do some damage. He's down here in the count 1-2, and Gibbler gets the foul ball, and this 8th inning will continue.
Yeah, hit a rocket to right field, and I think that's the ball that Kahio Aloy kind of spun out on in his last at bat.
Gibbler ready. His next pitch. He leaned on that breaking ball. Another check swing. This time Matthew Wilbanks says no offer.
You could see Ryder Helfrich before that pitch kind of pounded his catcher's mitt into the dirt and said, don't hang this one. You can see the thumbs up right there by Helfrich.
Teal, the leadoff hitter, is on deck if Chance can reach in the 8th inning. And he will. That one's laced to the gap in right center field. Turner will get over there to cut it off and play it back in to keep Chance to a single. And Troy, he left that one up.
Yeah, that was just a hanger right there, and that's what a veteran hitter does. Just fights off good pitchers' pitches and then knocks one into the gap when they get a hanger.
Of course, it also brings the tying run to the plate.
How about 3 hits for Bryce Chance?
He has 3 hits, and Aiden Teal has 2, including a walk at the top of the line. And should Teal reach, then the dangerous Ace Reese would bat. It is a lefty-lefty matchup, though. This was the first batter that Gibbler faced, so he's gone through this lineup now. He ended up walking Teal. The bases were loaded, but Reese fly to center, and Arkansas maintained their lead.
If you're Gibbler, you know the runner at first isn't going anywhere. He's got a really short lead, and he's got to focus with 2 outs on that batter.
At the knees with a fastball for a called strike.
Well, for the most part, Cole Gibbler really just pounds the bottom part of the strike zone with the slider and that fastball.
He hides the baseball just a bit. That one is past Robinette. Turner will retrieve and play it back in. State going station to station as that throw goes to third, but those were a couple of 2-out singles to bring up Reese.
With Robinette holding the runner at first base, this bank just gets right by him. And again, I think that's a really smart move by State right there. You're already in scoring position with 2 outs. You cannot make that 3rd out at third base. And
Tell you what, though, you're tempting fate because Reese came to the plate with the bases loaded in the 6th. Comes to the plate with a couple of runners on base and needs the go-ahead run in the 8th. Late inning grand slam midweek to turn what could have been a loss into a win for the Bulldogs against Tulane.
you can see Reese talking to the home plate umpire, Eddie Newsom, saying, hey, was that pitch down? He wants to understand that. I love how college hitters do that nowadays. Talk to that umpire, understand the strike zone.
Soft little dribbler to first. Robinette will get there and then apply the tag to end the inning. Mississippi State has stranded a dozen, 12 tonight. 4-2 Hogs as we hit to the last of the 8th inning. Good look. It's a menacing look. How long would that take to put on that paint?
The question is not even to put it on, but how long would it take to get it off?
That's a good point. I don't want to get too far away from the graphic. We started the telecast tonight talking about this outstanding Mississippi State hitting team against Arkansas's pitching. Well, today, State has 10 strikeouts on the mound. Arkansas has been pesky offensively to have a 4-2 lead.
Yeah, they've just had some opportune times of getting hits and just creating some runs, kind of old school that Arkansas has done, moving some guys up, getting some walk and hit batters. But State's going to go to a new pitcher. That's going to be Dane Burns, the left-hander, 6'5", 215. That fastball is going to sit in the low 90s. Has a sweeping slider as well. And that kind of a 3/4, almost sidearm relief. And when he's on, you're going to see a lot of ground balls out of left-hander.
How about this? Regina, not sure if it's Regina or Regina, but Saskatchewan, Canada. And his father was a hockey player drafted as a goalie by the San Jose Sharks.
Wow. Very cool.
That Dane played a little hockey in his day, too. Camden Kojal leads off the bottom of the 8th inning. It's a big chopper to Fry, who is back on the grass and will sidearm one to first to retire Kojal.
A lot of 4-3s
no
here
doubt.
lately.
Tell you what, the field's in absolutely perfect condition. Green grass, good bounces, but we've had enough ground balls in these last 3 home games to take some chunks out of that luscious Baum-Walker Stadium grass and dirt. Doesn't feel like March 13th, Friday the 13th.
I know. Not too bad.
Here's Ryder Helfrich, who's 0 for 3.
But we're going to miss the crazy weather on Sunday.
Yep, we will.
I think, 40-mile-an-hour winds, and it's going to get down to 20 degrees Sunday night. My goodness.
Might be time to retire for me and go someplace else. But we're back midweek, Tuesday and Wednesday, and I think Mother Nature is going
to warm up.
Good
maybe
graces.
Mid-50s on Tuesday and 70 Wednesday. And it's going to be up in the 80s at the end of the week.
Northern Colorado, the opponent, they might want to come here and play in the snow. They're probably used to it in Greeley. Helfrich looks at a pitch just outside, 3-0. Arkansas has been out hit 10-6. They lead it 4-2. And they have a base run. Helfrich will walk to bring up Zach Stewart. And I would say, Troy, the crowd's still a buzz from what this man did back in the 6th.
Boy, just listen to this one. Just an absolute rocket off the bat of Zach Stewart. If you got a little bit of a tweak of an injury when you can just jog around the bases,
That groin felt perfect there. He's hopping and skipping and jumping.
Gonna have a
So
mound
again,
visit.
he's chasing 200 hits and 50 career home runs.
That's some awesome numbers right there.
A DVH joked that when Stewart came through here a few years ago with Missouri State, he turned to his assistants and said, "Well, that guy looks like he should have a Razorback jersey on." It was a big physical kid from a border state in Missouri. Well, they got him, and Dave did mention, I don't know, about a week ago that he was going to keep moving him up a little bit in the lineup, and he had that setback for a couple of games with the groin injury running to first. But that home run, which provided some insurance, is exactly why Arkansas wanted him to be healthy enough to at least DH.
He really changes this Arkansas lineup with the power that he has. And not only the power, he's just a good hitter.
He's 1 for 3, but a couple of runs batted in, and that's in the dirt. Helfrich is going to try to advance. And he made it to the back tip of the bag with the oven mitt. There was a moment where I did not think Helfrich was going to get there successfully.
Boy, just a little bit of hesitation by Helfrich, and you're right, it was the slide to that back corner of the bag.
Ooh.
And I love how Woodson kept that tag on him the whole time.
So lefty-lefty matchup, and Stewart gets a front door breaking ball, chops one to first. Stallman will flip to Burns covering in time for the second out as Helfrich moves over to third base.
And remember, Stewart can't run very well, so he was just kind of hobbling down that first base line.
Mike Anu is 0 for 3. His first true SEC game. Again, he went 8 for 14 in that Stetson series with 5 runs scored, 4 runs batted in. I think it was kind of quiet because of some of the struggles collectively in the last couple of games.
I think this is Coach O'Connor coming out to have a talk with his left-hander, and I'd be shocked if they don't make a pitching change right here and go to a right-hander, and that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Obviously, keeping this at a 2-run deficit gives you a chance with just 1 base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. Pitching change. Yvonne Walker lets these fans call the Hogs. We'll step aside and be right back. The man in the middle, as DVH says, that's what a big league left-hander looks like in Hunter Dietz. He'll be on the mound against Tomas Valinkas, not to be confused with his brother Valencius.
You just love that
I
one, don't you?
It's just too much fun. Anyhow, it'll be a fun matchup. 1 o'clock tomorrow, game 2 of the series, game 1 of the doubleheader. So there you go. New pitcher for the Bulldogs. It's a freshman, Braden Booth on. He is pitcher number 4 for State.
Yeah, he's only thrown an inning and a third. He's given up 3 hits. Fastball is going to sit in the low to mid 90s. Throws a slider and a changeup as well. Kind of that 3/4 release guy. I think State's got a guy that can get the strikeout, and that's what they're looking for against Mike Anu right here.
Because again, there's a runner at third with 2 outs.
Again, Arkansas, you remember Camden Kojal almost got picked off at third base, so they're wanting to try to get an extra run right here. So something in the dirt. You already saw Helfrich be aggressive between first and second. Might be aggressive trying to come home right here as well, too.
Had a look at the starter there for State tomorrow. Here's Mike Anu, 0 for 3 in the game. I don't know how many times the catchers, this is James rather than Raymond, but the State catchers have done a really good job, not just blocking balls, but deadening them in the dirt.
I mean, he just absolutely smothered that one. I love how he kind of got that chest out over almost home plate, and just that ball just came straight down into the ground.
Mike Anu hits a chopper to third. There is Reese. Close at first, but out. And Arkansas does not get that insurance run. They strand a runner at third base. To the 9th we go. State needs 2 to tie or 3 to take the lead. For Troy, they have stranded 12 in this game as they get ready to bat in the 9th against Gibbler.
Yeah, this is a team that just hasn't done that very often. Brett, this is an offense that The least amount of runs they've scored in every game this season is 6. And they've got 2 right now. They're not done, but that just kind of tells you what Arkansas pitching has done tonight.
Remember, they had a little dribbler of a hit and an infield base hit in the 5th to lead it off, and to their credit, they cashed them both in, and that's been it as far as the scoring. And Gibbler, who's had 1 save this year and 1 save last year, will try and shut the door. He has given up a couple of singles. He's walked a batter. He will get the heart of this state lineup in Sullivan, Stallman, and Fry.
And Noah Sullivan, you can see his numbers right there, but he's going to be pretty patient. Just trying to get on base some way, somehow.
Walked back in the 5th. Bounced out to second against Gibbler. So Gackle 5 2/3. Gibbler trying to bring it home. Sullivan with that Raleigh finger stash trying to get on base to bring the tying run to the plate quickly in the top of the 9th inning. Good pitch on that breaking ball. You know, I call it a slider, Troy. I mean, I guess it could be a curve too. It's got a bit of a
kind of slurvy, isn't it?
I would say so.
Well, those are about the best 2 pitches. He threw a changeup down and away and just a wicked slider to Sullivan right there.
Outside corner, strike 3 call.
Another changeup that just dotted the outside corner. 3 pitches that you can't just walk up and put them in the catcher's mitt any better than that. Look at this location in the movement.
We didn't see much of that pitch last year, did we?
No, he was pretty much fastball slider. He looks like he's going a lot more off-speed pitches, which that's what you have to do against a great hitting team like Mississippi
And
State.
if you have designs on being in the rotation, you need that 3rd pitch. Reed Stallman, a left-handed batter. I tell you what, with this lineup, though, and the left-handed hitters that the Bulldogs have, it's quite a weapon to have Gibbler be able to go multiple innings to finish off the game.
Yeah, he really is. And he's one of those guys that it doesn't get any easier the next time you face him either.
Stallman did have a sac fly back in the 5th that provided State with its 2nd run. That one shot to left, hit well. Ruiz is back. He's at the fence, reaching for the wall. But he makes the catch. It's Cozy to the edge of that bullpen. Ruiz got back there to wait to make the catch, and there's 2 outs.
Well, I'll tell you what I think the difference was, that ball not leaving the yard. It's starting to get cool outside, and I think it's just the night's getting a little bit, air's getting a little heavy. The ball was hit 106, so he smoked that baseball, but
you're going marine layer on
yes
here in Northwest Arkansas. I like it. They don't. Here's Drew Wires. This kid is he's been fun to watch as of late for Mississippi State. See his numbers on the year. Couple of home runs. In fact, in game 1 against Lipscomb on Thursday, hit his first home run of the season in the 6th inning. And then in the 7th inning, he hit number 2.
Wow.
But Mississippi State down to its final out in the 9th inning. This started as a top 5 matchup, but quite honestly, the polls came out on Monday morning before Arkansas lost to Stetson. Otherwise, they might have dropped a couple of spots, but this is the way you start out SEC play. 10,464 fans, 2 top 5 teams. Arkansas and Gibbler trying to shut the door, but the count is 2-0.
Again, a walk right here is going to bring the tying run to the plate for the Bulldogs, and don't you know Cole Gibbler knows that.
Fry's hitting streak will die a death today, but Ryder Woodson is on deck. Gibbler's 2-0 pitch. Got one at the top of the zone with a breaking ball for a strike.
You see Wires thought that ball was up, and that
I did
was
too.
Very top of the zone, I think, yeah.
Especially 2-0, I kind of give up on that pitch.
Yeah, I think Helfrich kind of maybe stole one right there. You see Helfrich kind of shaking his head, trying to get the hitter to think a little bit about what pitch is coming.
And it hit him. Free base runner, and the tying run will come to the plate in the 9th inning.
There's bodies in the Arkansas bullpen, but nobody's throwing. This is Cole Gibbler's game. Arkansas is going to play behind the runner at first with Reese Robinette not holding that runner on. I think that's a smart move because that run does not mean anything.
Woodson's 0 for 4 tonight. He grounded out to third to Pompey the only time he faced Gibbler. And I tell you what, it doesn't matter the game or the day, that 27th out is always one that has these two teams and these fans on the edge of their seats.
Well, I think so. When you've got an offense like Mississippi State does, anybody in that lineup can run that baseball out of the yard.
Gibler's next pitch lifted to left and hit well. Ruiz is back. He's at the fence. He's going to leap high, and it's gone. In a tie game. Ryder Woodson with one swing has made it 4 apiece. The 2-out hit batter and the 2-run homer.
How about 104 off the bat of Ryder Woodson? Hit that one 395 feet, and with one swing of the bat, this game is tied. That's a fastball right down the chute, and as soon as he hit it, I think everybody in the stadium just held their breath because you knew that thing was gone.
Ruiz got back there, but he just ran out of room. Quick visit to the mound, and I'll tell you what, the one thing DVH said this week that's kind of echoing through my empty brain, he said in this league, when you have a chance to close out a game, you've got to do it.
That's right.
When one slips away, when you've worked for 8.5 innings, whatever it is, to get a win, and it doesn't take place, those sting. Here is James. And keep in mind, State had left 12 runners on base, so they had numerous opportunities to score, and Arkansas's pitchers were a little bit better. But a 2-out hit batter, a 2-run homer. It's off the corner.
And Arkansas is going to have batters 6, 7, 8 coming up in the bottom of the 9th.
Hawks still need that 3rd out. Shank to the left, off the facade of the suites.
We kept saying it all night long. This is just an extremely dangerous Mississippi State Bulldog team. And Steele Eves and Ethan McIlvain is the left-hander.
I think a couple of moments ago, Arkansas was thinking about having those guys available for tomorrow and not tonight. Wave and a miss. We got a strikeout, we do. Ryder showed it to the umpires. Woodson, though, a 2-run homer to tie. It's Pompey, Aloy, and Robinette in the bottom of the 9th. Hawks need a run to win. Aloy, Ryder, Woodson, Onions.
Boy, that ball was absolutely uncorked. And after the hit batter, that was the big pitch in the inning when Cole Gibler hit the batter before that swing. And again, it was just, Arkansas was just kind of playing with fire. They just knew this Mississippi State team was going to come back with a big swing, and you just never felt like 2 runs was enough.
He lost some blood tonight, but he also had the homer to tie. So 4-4, bottom of the 9th. This is pitcher number 5 for the Bulldogs. It's another freshman. It's Maddox Miller.
Yeah, he's got a big arm, Maddox Miller does. 6'4", 185, but he's going to sit 94 to 97 with the fastball. 2-pitch mix guy, fastball changeup, no kind of breaking ball, but boy, I tell you what, the fastball is definitely electric. And if you're Arkansas, you need base runners. You got to make sure that you get strikes. That's one thing that Maddox Miller does have a tendency to do, is kind of try to struggle with finding that strike zone at times.
TJ Pompey is yet to bat in this game. So the 5th appearance for Maddox Miller in his college career comes in a tie game in the bottom of the 9th inning. See the numbers for TJ. He has struck out more than any hitter in the SEC this season, including 4 the other day. Did not start, came on defensively at 3rd base. A chance, though, to get a big swing in the bottom of the 9th inning.
A little surprised that Maddox Miller comes out with the first pitch changeup right there. Poppy had a good batting practice, was really shooting balls to right field.
I thought we might see Ben Davis out of that bullpen. Hogs need base runners, or a base runner, or a run. 2 balls and a strike. Again, it's Aloy and Robinette to follow. Arkansas led 2-0. They were tied at 2. They were up 3-2, then 4-2, but now tied at 4. Pompey waves and misses at a pitch that was elevated.
I think Turner's on deck.
That's right. He came on for Cahillo defensively. So Arkansas took out Rutenbar and Aloy a couple of innings ago. So they don't have the power of Cahillo. That's one of those situations, Troy, you're playing to win the game in 9 and you're or in 8.5, I guess. (3-2). Lifted in the air, right center field. Teal is back. He's at the fence. That ball's gone! T.J. Pompey in his first Razorback SEC game hits the game-winning homer, sprints around the bases, and the celebration is waiting at home plate. Oh, that must feel good for T.J. Pompey. The hero, and now the race is on to get that jersey and rip it right off him. And the fireworks shooting off above the scoreboard at Baumwalker.
That was a 3-2 fastball, Brett, that was left out over the plate, and T.J. Pompey absolutely smoked that ball. 106 off the bat, 400 feet to right center field, and it didn't get out by a long ways, but it got out. And what a couple big swings for both teams right there.
Boy, off the bat, I wasn't sure he had enough, and then that ball just continued to carry.
Well, normally the wind blows in from right field, and there is absolutely no wind. You can see that the emotion on the face of T.J. Pompey. Let's see that swing.
Elevate and celebrate.
Boy, he hit it good. You can see the reaction of the Arkansas dugout. Everybody's wondering what's going to happen.
Had to avoid a collision with one of the Bulldogs.
That's an excited young man, Brett.
I mean, Troy, this has been a frustrating start at times for TJ. More strikeouts than anybody in the league, and there's times you start to wonder about how this season is going to track. In a moment like that, might just flip the script for TJ Pompey.
What a great, you talk about range of emotions for both teams. You have a state dugout that exploded with a 2-run homer, then the solo shot to end it by TJ Pompey. That's just a great SEC ball game but 2 top 10 teams, top 5 teams.
So State had the 2-run homer from Woodson in the top of the 9th to tie, and then Pompey had the walk-off blast in the bottom of the 9th. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern time, that begins the doubleheader. Dave Neal, Chris Burke will have it for Troy Eklund and our entire crew. I'm Brett Dolan. The flags are flying tonight in the Hog Pen. Thanks for tuning in. Again, our final, Arkansas 5, Mississippi State 4. So long and good night.